disappointed in every one of you.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to offend you.
I'm disappointed in every one of you.
I kiss you on the mouth.
No, I'm not cool with that. I'm sorry.
One more time.
I'm disappointed in every one of you.
I mean, I'm dealing with degenerate animals.
I'm disappointed in every one of you. Disappointed in every one of you.
All right, come on.
Honestly, I can't do it, man.
I'm disappointed in every one of you.
Let me tell you why.
It's gonna be all right, Nicky. Go ahead, shoot.
He just killed a little fucking man.
What are you going to do about it?
You're happy because you got nothing. You don't got a thing. You're happy because you got nothing.
Lomito!
You got nothing.
I want to get out. I want to get out of this rat hole. I want to get online. I need
BDA Boxing.
Alright, welcome everybody to another BDA Boxing podcast, broadcasting to you live from the true north. This is your friend Mr. BDA, and flying solo for the start today. King Bucho is not here. I don't know if he's gonna be here, we didn't talk about that, but whatever it is, or whether he's here or not, we're gonna have some fun. Lots to talk about. Of course, the subject of today is going to be Lomachenko versus Campbell, and whether Lomachenko is the number one pound-for-pound fighter in the world. Before we continue, I already got Stu here joining me, replacing King Bucho, so that way I don't end up talking to myself. Also, before we get down to the fun, I gotta get the business out of the way. If you want to keep the gravy train rolling, you can donate via the super chat, or you can donate via our PayPal page or Patreon page. And don't forget to like and subscribe and check out the BDA Twitter page. Alright, let's give a shout out to everybody that's in the chat room right now. We got Shepherd of Sons keeping things together in there. Shout out to the Shepherd of Sons. Always appreciate his contributions. We got Official Scorecard Boxing, Saint Brit, Daniel Lopez, Fight Scout, Box 88, BOKS, Unrival Boxing Talk. Shout out to Unrival, Subash Kunwar. Many more to come, I'm sure. No, Jason Bourne, can't forget Jason Bourne, M6G, Bay Area Boxing, Rasclot in the house, 51-0 now. Michael Stott, who can't stop saying Mr. BDA. We got Gonzalo as well. Shout out to Gonzalo, the Quags, Shelton Film Productions, and many more to come, I'm sure. Nesmatic says, ¿Cómo estás, Mr. BDA? I'm doing fantastico. Fantastico. Sensacional, as they say in Spanish as well. So that's about it, really. We're going to talk about Lomachenko. We're going to be taking phone calls. I'm going to be opening up the phone lines pretty soon, so get ready for that. The number is up there at the top of your screen. And like I said, we're going to be talking about Lomachenko. First, let me introduce Stu, who I believe is already here.
I wasn't back though. I told you what's going to happen to Price. I told you he's going to be sleeping. I told you the ambulance is going to come. The oxygen mask is going to come out. I told you he's going to miss the main event. I told you all them things were going to happen.
All right, Stu, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here, man. What's happening?
Hey, how you doing, man?
Thanks.
Everything's good here.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I hope everything's good. Everything's good on my side here. Nice little rainy day for everybody. And again, I don't know if you saw, but the subject of today's show is Lomachenko. Again, he's fighting in England against Luke Campbell in London, I believe. It's in London, right?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
It's going to be a great.
Yeah, it's a big occasion for the UK fans. Probably the last chance we'll get to see Lomachenko on this side of the pond. So yeah, definitely, it's a fight. I'm not sure I'm too happy about paying pay-per-view for it. I'm getting a bit tight when it comes to paying for boxing. I used to pay for everything. I mean, I can put 2 donkeys in the ring and I'd have bought it. But I'm getting a bit tight with the old purse strings recently, and I will buy this. But you know,
wait a minute. Are you? I can't even get past the first part. This is pay-per-view over there in England.
Yeah.
Oh, that's disgusting. Which it's Sky
but
Sports,
anyway,
right?
Going to use excuse. Oh, we couldn't get Lomachenko over here. And I suppose he's right, because I know Lomachenko, Bob Aram's paying him 2 or 3 million a fight, isn't he? So it's going to cost money to get him over here. But
wait, this is in Sky Sports pay-per-view, or?
Yeah, Sky Sports. I think it'd be on I don't know if the Zone have the rights to this though. I'm not sure your side. I don't have to with Lomachenko. I think he's with the ESPN, isn't he? Or something.
I don't know if it's ESPN or ESPN Plus. Let me check it out.
Yeah, he's one of them. So I doubt that'll be on the Zone. I'm not sure.
No, it's not going to be on the Zone because this is Top Rank. They have nothing to do with the Zone. According to ESPN here, it's going to be ESPN Plus. So even the ESPN subscribers do not have access to this fight. They got to get the application ESPN Plus. That's ridiculous. That's really ridiculous. This is what they're saying, by the way. This is what Sky Sports and ESPN are saying.
I don't think I like your tone, Captain.
That's not the right. Sorry.
I want my fucking money.
This is where boxing is right now. This is where boxing is right. If we want any sort of competitive fight, then it's going to cost us, unfortunately. I mean, that's what was great about the Kovalev Yard fight. I mean, it was a good fight, wasn't it? You know what I mean? And it was free.
Mm-hmm.
We got to see it free. We didn't have to. Hang on a sec. Let me just let this dog in because he won't stop.
the dog wants in Stu's house. I think Stu should actually be more disciplined and more strict with his dogs and say, "Listen, dogs, doing a show here. Stay out." Dogs love the rain. They love the outdoors.
Fucking pain in the arse he is, man. I'm telling you.
All right.
And like I said, we're gonna have to. Most competitive fights these days, it looks like we're gonna have to pay for it. So it is what it is. But like I said, Lomachenko is probably the only time we're going to see him in the UK. And the title of the show is he pound for pound or not? And for me, he is. But pound for pound, it's an opinionated thing. It's all about opinions. You know, there's no really do a pound for pound list, because what makes Dan Raphael's opinion more important than ours, makes it more right than ours? Is it just an opinionated? It's all about opinions, and my opinion is that he's pound for pound number one. There's a lot of people out there that probably got Canelo there or Terence Crawford. I don't have a problem with that because they're in my top 5. See, with the top 10, I'm not sure if I could fucking give you a top 10 right now. I'd have to think about it, but I've got my top 5 in my head. That just rolls off the tongue because that's where I am with that. The rest, I mean, the bottom 5, it changes now and again. You know, one minute you got some Ron Versailles in there, next minute he has a poor performance and he goes out. You know, some people have got a Nui in there and some people have. So it's the pound for pound list, like I said, it's just about opinion. So you'll get some people up butt hurt that I've said he's pound for pound number one. But you know, when you break down when I break down what I want in a pound for pound list, I break down skills.
I thought you had Golovkin number 1 pound for pound, though.
No, I didn't. I've never had Golovkin number 1.
I'm kidding. Listen, you know what, Stu? But you know what, Stu? Here's what I like about Vasyl Lomachenko. This is what I wanted to start the show off with. The fact that, you know, let's put that aside for the moment about whether he's pound for pound or not. The fact that he's traveling to England, he's the A side in this equation. I mean, I know he's not a mainstream name, or I mean, you know, he can't draw the type of numbers that Canelo does, but he is the A side for all intents and purposes, and he's traveling over to England for this fight. This is how confident he is. You know, we were talking about this in the last episode about how very few Americans want to go to Russia to fight Sergey Kovalev, even though it would make more sense. Because if you're a fighter from Connecticut and you can't draw flies, whether you're fighting in New York, Las Vegas, and really only in Connecticut can you get an audience, it behooves you to go over to Russia where Kovalev is a bigger name. But none of these guys want to go to Russia. look at Lomachenko. He could fight in New York, he could fight in LA, but he chooses to go to England. That to me is one of the reasons why I like watching Lomachenko fight and why I like his demeanor, whether in the fight or his willingness to travel abroad to get a fight.
It's not just that. It's how quick he's achieved what he has in the pro game. I mean, how many guys out there do you know that's had 2 fights that would fight Orlando Salido at 147 pounds on the night?
Mm-hmm.
You know that he's going to do that. He's beat everyone they put in front. I remember when Rigondeaux was going to break this guy's jaw. Oh, keep him away from Rigo. Rigo's too skilled. He'll break Loma's jaw. We all know what happened. Then the Axeman was going to axe Lomachenko down in the 3 rounds. We all know what happened then. They just keep finding these ways to criticize this guy, and he keeps coming through the challenge. Oh, he's had his tough moments with Linares and who was it he's fought recently?
Pedraza.
Yeah, Pedraza. Yeah, he had his moments there. I mean, some people had Pedraza winning that fight until he, knocked him. I mean, I don't know what fucking fight they were watching, but he did have his problems. And I think one thing with Loma, I think the only thing that he does have problems with is range and straight punches. So if you've got sort of, like Linares has got that. He's a very world-class puncher, and he's got long arms and he's got range behind them shots. And if you keep Lomachenko, because he's such a small guy and he's given away so much size in this division, he's trying to find his way in, and sometimes he can walk on to straight shots. And I think that's the best way of beating him. Luke Campbell has them attributes. He's very good with the straight punches. He's got long arms as well with the long, which is going to make Lomachenko look really small. But Lomachenko, he adapts. He finds a way, and that's what makes him. He could have problems with his style, but then he'll work it out. It's like Gary Russell Jr. He worked Gary Russell Jr. out very quickly, and Gary Russell Jr. Is a very talented guy with fast hands, and he's a very hard man to work out. He's a very hard man to beat, Russell Jr., because he's throwing shots from all angles with so much speed on him. You don't see him coming. So, he's a real tough fight for anyone. And Lomachenko worked this guy out quickly.
I don't think
like Rigondeaux as well. Rigondeaux, when you see Rigondeaux, he's kept ducking, didn't he? Below waist height, which is illegal, by the way. You're not allowed to do that. But Rigondeaux was the coward's way out for me. Just ducking below waist, thinking that Lomachenko can't hit him. But Lomachenko still found a way to catch him as he was going down. And it wasn't pretty at times, but he found a way to work out that negative Rigondeaux survival style that would have worked in most cases. But Lomachenko, he adapted to that one and made Rigondeaux quit. So every challenge that's put in front of him, he's passing. So for me, number 1 pound for pound, but that doesn't mean he is. So before anyone cries,
yeah, some people already disagree with us in the chat room. First of all, I'm going to invite on Rival Boxing Talk, aka McGregor. So this is going to kick me out of the group for 2 seconds. I'll jump right back in 2 seconds, but I didn't want to send the invite while you were talking, because otherwise it was going to cut you off. So, oops. All right. So I sent the invite, and this thing kicked me. Okay. So it restarted for some reason. All right, so now I'm back. All right, fellas, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Yeah, I can hear you, man. Okay.
All right, fantastic. See, I don't know what I still haven't figured out how to create a group. I think I have to create a group first, otherwise this thing kicks me out. Anyway, we got on Rival Boxing Talk. Are you there?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right, fantastic. Good to have you on board. Listen, we're talking about Lomachenko, and again, somebody mentioned in the chat room about whether this is the tallest guy that Lomachenko has ever fought. And to Stu, you mentioned about Pedraza, about whether, how he did give Lomachenko some trouble. He didn't win many rounds, but you could tell, maybe I don't know if it was just me, but I remember mentioning this on the post-fight show about how Lomachenko seemed a little frustrated. And Luke Campbell, according to BoxRec, is 5'9". Now, he doesn't have a lot of upper body movement. He seems a little stiff when it comes to that point, but he is a tall dude. He is young. Southpaw, he's got good fundamentals, good schooling, amateur record. Then again, in his last fight, some people felt he lost to Ivan Mendy, if I remember the name correctly. So
he won that fight. He lost the first fight to Mendy, I believe. It was his first defeat. And you know, a lot arguably beat Linares. I mean, I had Linares winning that fight, to be honest with you. But there's a lot of people out there that thought Luke Campbell got the win. But I just don't. Like I said, Luke Campbell's got the attributes that he needs to really cause Lomachenko trouble, but just doesn't have the punching power.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, that's if you can't knock Lomachenko out, you're not going to outbox him, are you? Let's be real. I mean, the best have tried and failed miserably. You have to knock this guy clean out to win. And unfortunately, Luke Campbell just doesn't carry that power.
That's a good point. His power is really. I mean, he's got a decent knockout ratio, but it doesn't seem to translate in the with his biggest opponents. By the way, I don't see the alert is not working here, but Chicano Prophet, shout out to Chicano Prophet, says, "Hey guys, I appreciate that you put this shows on iTunes podcast after it airs. Makes it much easier to catch up when I'm on the road." Well, thank you, Chicano Prophet. It's really our pleasure to put these shows on iTunes and Spreaker. So check those out, guys. So that way you can download them after these air live on YouTube. And again, thank you to Chicano Prophet for his contribution. But yeah, like you were saying, Stu, that the power. I mean, listen, anybody can lose in this game. And even though Lomachenko, I do think for me he's the pound for pound number one. Anything can happen in boxing, even though Lomachenko is the favorite on paper, but inside the ring, anything can happen. Maybe he busts one of his hands, maybe he gets a cut and loses the first 3 rounds, and then whoops, the fight is stopped and he loses a technical decision. You never know. On Rival, what about you? I forgot about your pound for pound card, but do you think Lomachenko is number one pound for pound, and what can Campbell do in this fight? Can he make it interesting?
Well, I don't have him pound for pound number one. I have his compatriot Usyk. But, like, you can switch them around. It's hard to me. Either one's a valid choice for me. Then Canelo, Crawford, Golovkin. That's really the top 5. You put Pacquiao on there.
You know, McGregor, that's exactly what I've got in my top 5. Exactly the same.
Yeah, you can just switch everything around.
Yeah.
Just, like, as long as one of those two bastards, the top 2, you're fine. Outside of that, like, what were you asking about? What can Campbell do in this fight?
Yeah, can he make this interesting?
He can make it interesting just based off of his height, being a southpaw, being long and rangy, trying to be awkward. People are talking about him having the home audience. Did anybody see that pre-workout today? The media workout? He ain't got the home audience. Everyone was singing Loma, man. Everyone was hyped for Loma. Massively.
It's a bit like when Mike Tyson came over to fight. Was it Danny Williams? I think he fought, wasn't it?
Yeah, it might not be as big as that, but it's massively in Loma's favour.
What I'm saying is, no one was there to support Danny Williams. It was one of them when they was there to see Tyson, and it's got that same feeling about it, like no one's there to see Campbell. I mean, I think even his own fucking missus is waiting for a Lomachenko autograph. You know what I mean? So it's all like I said. It's the only time we're going to see UK. I don't think Top Rank are going to let him come over here too often. I think it's just a one-off. So luckily we're going to get to see Usyk over here a few times because he's with Matchroom. So we'll get to see Usyk, but Lomachenko's another story. So yeah, we've got to make the best of it.
Yeah, and on top of that, like as Stu was saying, like one thing I haven't heard anyone in the UK or Ireland saying I'm looking forward to the Campbell fight. Everyone's saying I can't wait for Loma. I'm looking forward to see Loma. We get to watch Loma. And yeah, it's on box office, but the fact that we don't have to stay up until 4 o'clock in the morning to watch him, I'm willing to pay the £20.
I'm going to pay it. It's just it's getting a bit tight when it comes to boxing.
Look, would you rather pay for that, or would you rather pay for David Price versus Dave Allen, headlined by Oscar Rivas and Dillian White?
Yeah, well, I didn't pay for that, to be honest with you.
Exactly.
I couldn't do it. Fuck me, it was a terrible card. Yeah, but
well,
like I said, I will pay.
For it.
I will pay. Like I said, you can make a night of it when it's on at a decent time. So yeah, I'll definitely pay for it.
Well, you know what? Now that you mention it, I forgot that this fight was going to be at 5 p.m. over here in Eastern time. So I gotta make arrangements to catch the fight that way. By the way, just to inform everybody that the phone lines are open. So if you want to give us a call and tell us who you get pound for pound number one, or why you don't have Lomachenko pound for pound number one. I'm certainly open to that. Guys, let's get to it then. I'll tell you who doesn't have Lomachenko pound for pound number one, and that is Richard Comey, whom, according to Boxing Scene, just came out recently and said that he has Canelo, Crawford, Spence, and Wilder above Lomachenko.
Oh, that's blatant. That's blatantly fascist.
Fascist?
That's fucking racist. That shit, man. That's fucking dumb as fuck. You're going with a political guy in Canelo, and then your next three are all the same color as you. I see how it is, Comey, and I was rooting for you. I hope White Boy starts you.
Oh, wait a minute.
Isn't Comey fighting Teofimo Lopez? I thought I read that.
Yeah,
supposedly.
They're saying that's going to take place on December 14th.
Well, what weight is
This
that?
is what's being reported.
What weight is that going to be at?
135. That's the weight
It's
they're in.
135 because I heard that Lopez was couldn't make it anymore.
No, it's for the IBF Comey's title.
Anyway, the point is that Richard Comey, when I read that comment, I said, okay, these are either two things, or a couple of things. One, he genuinely believes what he's saying. Or number two, he knows that down the line, he might end up encountering Lomachenko. And when you have such a phenomenon, such a phenom like Lomachenko, whom you know is going to be very tough once you get in the ring with him, because he brings a lot of things that other people don't. I mean, you can't really find anybody to prepare for him all that well. This could be just Comey trying to psych himself up, saying, hey, listen, I don't, dismissing him so that when it does come time to face him, he can sort of stay on the outside and say, you know what? I belong in the same class as he does, which he does. He does belong in the ring with Lomachenko because he's one of the top lightweights in the world. But you know what I mean. I mean, I think this is a psychological tool for himself. What do you guys think?
I think this is him trying to build a fan base, seeing that the black fighters are getting big pro-black fighters, trying to do that type of shit so that he can get some ticket sales because nobody knows who he is.
Yeah.
Let's be real. A lot of fighters, believe it or not, know absolutely nothing about other fighters or what's going on in boxing, who the champions are. Honestly, you could speak to a lot of fighters, and they wouldn't know half the guys that we know. So he's picking his list from what he's seen Dan Raphael or Max Kellerman's fucking done a list in the newspaper or something. He's probably copied that. At the end of the day, like I said, it is opinions, but I know where McGregor's coming from with that one. To put them sort of guys. I like Errol Spence. I think it's a very good fight, but what has he done to be in the pound for pound top five? I mean, what has he done?
Oh, that's the complaint you have here. Not Wilder.
Who else? I mean, fuck me.
Yeah, that's well. McGregor brings up a good point. Like in all of this, I mean, if he wants to have
Gayordu mentioning all these bums, fuck out of here, man. Like I said, it's nothing to be on that. Cal Brook, the fucking let's be real, Cal Brook with paper mache fucking cheekbones. I mean, the guy, every time you jab that guy, he cracks a fucking cheekbone or something. So, is that enough to get you on the pound for pound list? After, Golovkin had already softened Brook up, and I thought Cal Brook gave a good account of himself for that fight until his paper mache cheekbones fucking gave way on him again. But, what has he done? Come on. I want to know. I mean, if he beats Sean Porter, fight, I'm picking him just to nick it. I think his boxing skills will be enough on the night. Sean Porter's, I really like Sean Porter. He's a terrible star for anyone, and he'll snatch your heart if you haven't got the heart for it. If you ain't really about that life, he'll fucking soon find you out, Sean Porter, because he goes to the trenches. And I think Spence has just got enough boxing ability, especially with the jab, to keep Porter. And to stop him with his time as he's coming in, sort of thing. So I'm picking Spence to just nick it with Porter, and we'll take it from there. But right now, Spence should be on there.
Listen, Chris K says, I'm looking forward to Comey KOing Teofimo. Yeah, Comey has to get past Teofimo Lopez first. Now, as to your point about Spence not being able to put him ahead of Lomachenko, I completely agree. I think Spence is world class. I think he's a strong fighter. I think he's trouble for anybody. But yeah, there's a lot of people out there that are already drinking the Kool-Aid and saying that he can. We had some dudes coming on this show once and saying that he could jump up to middleweight and knock out Canelo and Golovkin. Let's see him get past Sean Porter first. Let's see him get past Manny Pacquiao first. Let's see him get past Terence Crawford first. He's got a lot of tests at welterweight before we can even start talking about whether he's the pound-for-pound #1 fighter in the world.
To be fair, like even Bud's not. I mean, Bud's in my top 5, but he's not really beat anyone
either. Yeah,
great, has he? I mean, let's reel off the names. I mean, Gamboa, Khan, the best ones I'm on about. I mean,
right.
Come on, Postal's better than Khan.
Yeah, Postal, Khan. I mean, they're all right names, but Josh Taylor did a better job on Postal. I mean, fucking Amir Khan. I mean, let's be real.
I disagree with.
Amir Khan gets in the boxing ring, it looks like he's going to get fucking sparked out cold. So it's not like stopping Amir Khan. I mean, Khan didn't get stopped; he just quit, didn't he? Sort of thing. So yeah, that was a good win. But even Crawford wasn't happy with his performance. You could see after the fight, the press conference, he was down about his performance because I thought he was terrible that night. I thought Crawford was horrible. I think he got too power happy. He thought all he had to do was click Khan. But sometimes you've got to work your way in and set up the shots, and he wasn't doing that. It was a poor performance. So when you break down Crawford, I mean, he was an undisputed in a 140 division, a terrible division at that at the time. I mean, if he was undisputed in this 140 division we got now, then I'd definitely be having him at #1. But he hasn't. So Crawford's in top 5, but I just can't have him at #1 for me.
Well, listen, people keep talking about, you mentioned unified. People love to talk about unifications, but again, that's not a valid, or it's a weak point when you're deciding who pound for pound is, because anybody can get a title nowadays. So if you beat 2 titles, whoop-de-doo, what does that mean? To me, it's about the class of the opponent. Just because you win a title nowadays does not necessarily mean that you are good. And what Crawford did at 140 pounds, although he used to be commended for fighting guys with belts, they weren't really. I mean, compare that to the class that we have now at 140. Again, it's not Crawford's fault, but I can't give him pound for pound based on what he did at 140 pounds. I mean, you had Postal in there, and other than that, his wins were against guys that really, turns out, weren't really that good.
Yeah.
Now, some people are going to say, Lomachenko, again, the biggest knock against Lomachenko is that, and we've heard this before from callers and from other panelists that have come on here, is that they can't give Lomachenko the pound for pound status or the crown because he lost against Salido. That's the main argument that we often hear. And it's almost cartoonish because they make it out to be as if he got schooled in the Salido fight. And of course, they disregard the fact that Salido came in overweight, the fact that this was only Lomachenko's second pro fight, and somehow these people were expecting him to school Salido, I guess because of the hype that he brought into that fight. And also the fact that Salido really didn't, I mean, he was going to the body, right? He was going to the body. Which was smart to prevent the mobile Lomachenko from doing too much. But even then, Lomachenko wasn't running. He wasn't moving all that much. It was a very lackluster fight from both guys because Salido... Hold on. Let me just say something. Let me just finish something here because people love to talk about the body attack from Salido, and we're going to get to what he said recently. But Lomachenko ended up finishing the fight stronger, which means that those body shots weren't really having that much of an effect on Lomachenko. Either he was blocking them, or those shots weren't as hard as we think, i.e. they weren't doing that much damage, and so Salido really wasn't dominating that fight. So when people keep bringing up the Salido fight, the Salido loss, that was 5 years ago. It wasn't a devastating loss, and it's already in the past. What Lomachenko has done since then in so few fights and dominating the way he does, that to me is why I have him pound for pound #1.
Yep. Could have said it better myself. But the thing is with the Salido fight, if you go back and watch that fight, Lomachenko, he fought that with an amateur style. I've said it before. That it was very amateurish that night. He looked classy doing it, but he doesn't. I don't think he understood that. He thought if he could just throw the cleaner shots, and that'd be enough. But it's not in a boxing ring. You could get a guy just swarming, you're hitting your arms and not really hitting clean, but they're scoring shots in the professional game. And Salido roughed him up, and sometimes you've got to be a bit more smarter in the pro. And I think Lomachenko learned a lot from that fight because, like I said, he didn't start throwing body shots. Lomachenko didn't until like the 9th, 10th round. And as soon as he started throwing the shots, Salido was falling to pieces because Salido, well, let's be real, he was about 147 pounds on the night. He was weight drained a little bit because he couldn't. He was trying to make the weight but couldn't because that's how big he was. So then body shots, when you weight drain, the body shots take a lot. And Lomachenko took 10 rounds to throw them fucking body shots. It was unbelievable. And I still had Lomachenko winning that fight, but I could see
Really?
why Salido got won.
You had Lomachenko winning that fight.
Yeah, I did. I had Lomachenko, but I can see why Salido got the nod because Lomachenko thought that like the judges were sitting there pressing a button like the old amateur scoring system. That's how he was. That's how he was fighting that fight. And it's, like I said, wasn't throwing shots to the body, wasn't working enough. I mean, that fight with Salido was the best thing that happened to him because look at the fight we've got now. He's changed a few things. And look at the angles he comes from. The body shots. I mean, when Lomachenko goes to war, he looks even better than when he boxes. He destroys these guys. I think he does far too much showman instead of gritting his teeth and getting them out there sometimes. I think we saw that in the last fight against Crowley. He didn't want to be there. And I thought he gritted his teeth and thought, I'm going to get this guy out quick. And he looked amazing doing it. I think sometimes when he's trying to outbox, come from the angles, I think he can cause himself a lot of problems when he's trying to get inside and you've got people like Linares throwing them bombs and pajamas. And that's why he was getting caught in them fights. So
hey, before I continue and mention that point, I want to give a shout out to Mr. M6G who donated via the super chat, and he says, BDA, what's good with Devin Haney? The answer is, can he look? He can look with one eye at his opponent as he's fighting him while looking at the judges scoring his card. H Money, you're crazy if Haney beats Lomachenko. If you want more information on Haney, Precise did a good analysis on him over at his channel, Fight Game, I believe it's called. Anyway, I'll put the link in the description. Fight Film. Yes, thank you, McGregor. Fight Film. By the way, Corruption in Boxing, if you want in, send me a message on Discord because I can't see you. I'll try to look for you, but for some reason I can't find you on my list here on the group. So send me an instant message on Discord and I'll send you a link if you want to come in. Also, okay, so getting back to what Stu said about that Linares, I mean the Salido fight, he certainly did seem to learn. And it seems to me like a lot of people do that. They say, oh, well, you know, if you want to beat Lomachenko, you have to apply pressure, which in theory seems correct. But it reminds me a lot of what people used to say when Mayweather was fighting, and people would point to the Castillo fight and say, well, listen, that's how you beat him. You got to put pressure. But Castillo was a very good fighter, underrated head movement and defense. And it wasn't very easy to catch him. So when people say, oh, you got to put pressure on Lomachenko, easier said than done. I mean, I'm looking. Let's look at that. Let's look at the Ring TV ratings here at the lightweight division and see who has a similar style to Orlando Salido. Okay, so right away I see. Well, not right away. That's a thing. At lightweight, there's nobody really that puts that much pressure. You'd have to go down to junior lightweight, where we have Miguel Berchelt. Hold on a second. I'm trying to put the ratings here up on the screen. There we go. Now, I know you're laughing at Miguel Berchelt, but the fact remains that he is a tough dude who doesn't really seem to mind getting hit. So he might make things interesting based on the fact that he's one of the savages that might not give Lomachenko all that much respect. You also have Andrew Cancillo, another maniac that doesn't seem to care getting hit. But again, it's one thing to put pressure and not care about getting hit. Another one is getting pieced up and not being able to touch him. So, well, I mean, what do you guys think about that? That everybody seems to think, oh, you just got to put pressure on him.
No, nobody in that division. Nobody. Or the below. Yeah, you can come forward and apply pressure and not mind getting hit, but at the same point, Salido's crafty. He was turning his back around, just the ref laying off shots and so much nutsack. Like, 27 ball shots. Like, let's be realistic. The dude also overweight at 147. He didn't even make weight. Then he comes in at 147.
You're breaking up, McGregor. You're breaking up. I can barely hear you.
Am I still breaking up?
No, now that was good.
All right. So he came in with a 17-pound weight advantage. He hits to the balls about 30 times in the fight. he was pulling Loma's head down. He was ranging on his neck. He could have been disqualified. In most of the fights, he could have been disqualified. But none of those guys do what Salido does. He's one of the dirtiest players in the game. And remember, it was his second fight, and he was in there with a 3-weight world champion.
Mm-hmm. And barely pulled it
Salido's
off.
wily, crafty, smart.
That's right.
Disgusting. He's one of the hardest fighters to actually get a win against, especially if you're inexperienced over 12 rounds.
And he barely pulled it off.
I'll tell you what, Bob Arum had a major error even taking that fight when Salido come in on the scales at 140 pounds. I mean, what fucking...
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, any other promoter, that fight wouldn't have happened. And Loma had every right to pull out of that fight. And everything was against him. Not only was this guy like a welterweight in the ring on the night, he was fucking constantly punching below the belt. And let's be real, I mean, we give out Andre Ward stick for what he did to Kovalev. Salido did far worse to Lomachenko, got away with it.
I don't know about worse. I mean, Andrew Ward is really one of the guys that, when it comes to dirty fighting...
Is, though, like I said, Kovalev, instead of, doing the right thing, screaming at the ref, and then bending down, he's just sitting there letting the guy do it. And it was just a strange the way Kovalev sort of give up instead of like fighting his corner, saying, hang on a minute, he's fucking punching me in the balls. But it's like Kovalev was happy to get out of there. That was very strange, and he just didn't react properly. I don't know. Like I said, I've never been uppercut. I've never had Andre Ward uppercut me in the bollocks before. So, maybe he wasn't thinking straight. But, Salido that night, just it was horrible. Like McGregor said, it's just a horrible way of fighting, isn't it? But this is the pro game. That will win you fights. And like I said, free-weight world division champion proves that. This guy, he's fights, and that's sometimes you don't have to have the skills, just a bit of will and a bit of work rate to be tough, and that's enough, sort of thing. But Lomachenko went in there thinking he could go in there and just pop shot his way to a points win. And don't happen in the pro games like that all the time. You can get away with it in the amateurs, and he did 400 times, but in the pro game, you got to have a bit more about you. And I think that loss was the best thing that happened to him, because look at the fight he is now.
Yeah. Now, another knock against Lomachenko for his wins is the Walters fight. I was rewatching Walters Donaire because I'm doing some preparation for the Donaire Inoue fight, making videos on that. And the thing about Nicholas Walters is a lot of people, some people discredit Lomachenko's win over Walters by saying that Walters was, he had that layoff, he didn't fight for a year, and therefore we can't give Lomachenko credit for that. But here's the problem. Nicholas Walters was a heck of a fighter. I mean, this guy just battered poor Nonito Donaire, and he got robbed against Jason Sosa. He really murdered Sosa to the body as well. And of course knocked out Darchinian brutally, even though Darchinian was past his peak. But nevertheless, I mean, not many people can knock Darchinian out the way Walters did. So Walters was class. So even, let's say that he was affected by the year layoff, who else could have made him quit the way Lomachenko did? I mean, think about it. Was that?
I just wanted to say, it's the same people who say that, right, about the Walters, are also the same people who don't acknowledge that he had a shoulder in the middle of the Linares. The same people who say that coming off of surgery against Petrazi, he got touched up, and they don't acknowledge that it was coming off of surgery. But Nicholas Walters was out for a year, eating food over in Jamaica.
Mm-hmm.
Say.
The thing with Lomachenko, like I said, a lot of these guys, I mean, Lomachenko's he's the bully beater. He likes these bullies to come onto him, picks them apart and makes them quit. Like Walters. Walters was a bully boy, real powerful guy, and he was a good fighter. Walters, wasn't he? Let's be real. But like how I said, weren't he? I mean, where's he been since? It's like Lomachenko took his fighting soul from him, and he's somewhere in Jamaica somewhere, and chilling in the sun. He don't want any part of boxing anymore by the looks of it. So that's what Lomachenko does. He sort of gets these bully boys, and he takes his spirits. Look at Rocky Martinez, tough as nails, a proper bully boy, come forward and swing all night. I mean, he took this guy to pieces, took him apart. So that's what Lomachenko likes. I think Lomachenko with range, a lot bigger than him, and he's going to have a lot of power. That's the sort of guy that's going to have to beat Lomachenko. And that's why I thought Crawford would beat Lomachenko. I think Crawford, when people saying Crawford Loma, Crawford's far too big for Lomachenko. And I just think that size and range, especially with Crawford's skills as well, would be far too much. So that's the sort of guy that's going to beat Lomachenko.
Absolutely, it's gonna take somebody with cojones to beat him. By the way, before we continue, we do have a phone call. Don't forget to call in, guys. The number is right there at the top of your screen, and we have a phone call. 512. You're on the air. 512.
Hello?
Yes, hello. 512. You're on the air. All right. Well, listen, if anybody else wants to call in, the number is right there at the top of your page. 512, we can't hear you, so when you get your phone issues or connection issues checked out, we'll continue talking to you.
I mean, it's a bit like Sosa, and like I said, Sosa's that sort of fighter where he's rough and rugged and a bit of a bully boy. And look what he did to Sosa. Just made an absolute mess of him. Anthony Collar's the same. Anthony Collar wears you down. Anthony Collar's got some good wins if you look at his resume. I mean, Barroso was a very good win. He was a bully boy that was knocking everyone out, and Collar took that guy apart. But look what
Barroso was a bully boy who beat Kevin Mitchell.
Exactly, but he was cast as
and
a bully boy.
And had only beaten crap in Argentina.
Yeah, I know this, but he was cast as a bully boy that everyone was avoiding because of his power. No one wanted to fight this guy. I can remember at the time, no one wanted to fight him. I agree with you, McGregor. He was a hype job. But Anthony Collar exposed this guy. And because Collar's quite a rough and rugged guy himself, but look what Lomachenko did. Them guys, them come forward fighters, he's going to piece them up all night. He's learned from that Salido fight. That'll never happen again. A guy that's with good boxing skills, with range, with power on the end of his shots, good timing. That is the guy that's going to beat Lomachenko. Not some Mexican style. Mexican style is not going to work with this one, I'm afraid.
And even then, it's hard to outbox the guy. But like you said, I think Crawford or anyone who has just significant advantage, like Spence, kill him. But just because Spence is really a one. Faffle.
All right, McGregor, you keep breaking up, man. You got to do what you did earlier to really get close to the mic. I think that was working. I don't know what you did, but when your volume went up, I could hear you better. Otherwise, you're breaking up. But you know what? People keep talking about the pressure style. So far, the style that I've seen Lomachenko give him the most trouble, other than Salido, was Pedraza and Linares. So hand speed and height can give him some trouble.
Range. Yeah, they boxed him at range. They weren't sitting in the pocket, were they? With him, they were boxing him at range. Let's be real. What happened with that Salido fight? That's not going to happen again. In there with Salido, putting your head down, swinging for the heels, you're going to get fucking knocked clean out. This is a different guy. This is what I mean. Sometimes people are not smart enough to realise that fighters get better. They look on they look down the resume, see, oh, look, Salido 5 years ago, oh, he's a bum. They can't think and connect the dots. Let's be real. Just look at this guy. Compare him to the one that fought Salido. It's stratospheres apart. That style that Salido brings. What do you think Salido avoided that rematch for? Because I'll tell you why. He would have got the fucking living shit kicked out of him, and he knows.
Now wait a minute. That type of language.
Look at that war he had with Rocky Martinez. Rocky Martinez was fish food. Look how quick that ended. This is a different Lomachenko completely. So that Salido Mexican style is not going to work. You need to be long, rangy. You got to have quick hands, good timing, good power, and like I said, you might not even outbox the guy in the night, but you've got a chance of catching him on the way in, and that's going to be your chance.
Absolutely. Let's just get to the phone lines real quickly. 757, you're on the air. 757.
What's up in BDA land? This is Nicholas Walters.
I see.
Yes, man. Let me tell you about Lomachenko. That boy is bad. Is a bad man, a blood-clad boy, fire.
Now, can you see the future? Can you put a couple of chicken bones on top of a metal barrel, work some of that voodoo, and tell us who's gonna win? Predict who's gonna win Lomachenko versus Campbell?
Boy, I tell you, hold on. Let me rattle my bones here, sir.
Rattle those bones, baby. Come on.
Blood-clad boy going to knock out the bomber-clad boy. The white boy don't even have a chance. And I mean the Campbell boy.
Wait, I mean, you said the white boy doesn't have a chance. They're both white boys, so you have to be a little bit more specific here.
No, Mr. The Carneval boy, the blood clot boy. Listen up now.
I can't hear what you're saying. You're screaming 2 meters away from the phone. I can't hear you.
I said, listen up now. The white boy, the Campbell boy, Lomachenko is gonna whoop that boy. He's gonna treat him like a dirty dog that he is.
Well, I gotta tell you, man.
Is this Walters? I'm sure it is.
It sounds like Nicholas Walters. I mean, it has to be, right? I mean, it's a Jamaican accent, so it has to be a mediocre Jamaican accent, I should say. But yeah, it has to be Nicholas Walters.
What you mean, boy? You know, mediocre? You know, blood clot, boy. You know, see? Man, lip shots upon your boy. You come to Jamaica and you tell me that me know Nicholas Walters and a blood clot, boy. You know, see?
All right.
It's and tackle everyone. Me gonna go smoke a split and enjoy the BDA podcast.
That's right. All right.
Let's speak to the Jamaican brother quickly.
Let's get. All right.
Let's speak to the Jamaican brother quickly.
Let's get the Jamaican brothers prediction time again, just to make it official. So you said the white boy. I didn't understand which white boy, but which white boy is gonna win and how? Come on.
Said Lomachenko is going to destroy Campbell.
All right, so there you go. So thank you for clarifying that, Stu. We don't need Nicholas Walters, I say Mr. Walters. We don't need to rehear your prediction again. Anything else you want to say before we let you go and get that blunt lit up? Oh, I think he's gone. No, are you still there? Yeah, he's gone. All right. Well, that was Nicholas Walters, everybody. Nicholas Walters making a surprise appearance on the show. So we've gotten James Stoney so far.
Calling in from Virginia.
Yeah, Virginia, Jamaica, you should say. All right. 512, you're on the air. 512.
Beaten up, bad. He had to go and move in with the rednecks.
512, you're on the air. 512. All right, 512 dropped. We got 818 on the line. Hold on a second. 818, you're on the air. 818.
Hello?
Yes, 818, you're on the air.
Oh, wow, it actually went through. Is this Bucho or BDA?
It's BDA.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, well, I'm glad to finally get to speak to you guys. I've been listening for about 2 years, or maybe, I guess, a year and a half. First time I listened to you guys was during the Gassiev and Dordicos.
Oh yeah, that was
you guys
were
doing that, so
it was in February 2018.
Like around the time we guys started like putting all your stuff together.
Who are you, if I can ask? Who are you in the chat?
Oh, I'm not. I literally went on to just YouTube BDA. I'm like, oh, these guys are live. Saw the phone number. And I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna pick up the phone and call.
Oh wait a minute. So you've been listening to the show for 2 years. You've been listening to the show for 2 years. You've never been in the chat?
Yeah. I didn't even have a YouTube account until like a couple of days ago.
What's the matter with you?
Yeah, I'm like boomer tech, you know, like I'm barely like I don't sign into like accounts or I don't know.
What's that?
So what's the topic, Lomachenko?
That's right. You got it.
Wow, I'm impressed.
Yeah, but Lomachenko, so give us, okay, if you don't tell us what we should call you or a nickname or whatever, we're going to have to come up with our own nickname. So you want to start off with a nickname yourself or?
Oh, sure, yeah. Well, if I ever get my channel like any bigger, or if I ever decide to do anything, I was thinking of a name and I thought like, I guess I'll go by like Muscle Memory. So
Muscle Memory.
Because those are the initials to my real name. Yeah.
All right, we'll call you the Mus from now on.
To my real name.
We'll call you the Mus from now on.
No, that's pretty lame.
No, that's pretty good. All right, the Mus.
I'll call him Miguel, bro.
Miguel?
Oh no, Latin blood.
What does that have to do with the muscle?
Blood in me, but
Anyway, listen, we don't want to talk about nicknames all day long. We don't want to talk about nicknames all day long. So, Mus, what do you want to what do you want to talk about? Lomachenko. What do you think about Lomachenko? Do you have him pound for pound number one, or do you disagree with that assessment?
No, definitely. I think he's number one. And with this weekend's fight, I think it's going to go a little longer than expected. I think it's going to go like late into the championship rounds, and I won't be surprised if it goes to distance. But I'm kind of worried about the scorecards, because if you guys remember with Usyk and Bellew, if you guys remember those scorecards, you know, like you gotta be kind of worried if you're a Lomachenko fan if it goes in the hands of those UK officials, like judges.
Well, let's ask the UK panelists here. What do you guys think? You think there's going to be some shenanigans with the scorecards, hometown advantage, and all that jazz?
Well, the beautiful thing about boxing is you can leave the judges out of it by getting the KO. I think that, you know, that's going to give Lomachenko that, you know, that edge to go for the KO. He's going to think, you know, I don't believe that will happen. I think Lomachenko will win clearly on points, but like the caller said, you never know. I mean, the UK are no different to anywhere else. They're gonna, you know, their own fighter sort of thing when it's close. So Lomachenko, he can't make it close. He has to make it a dominant performance. He has to go for the KO, and I think that's what he'll get. I don't think Luke Campbell is going to see the 12th round in this fight. I really don't. So I don't think we'll have to worry about it. But I can see where the caller's coming from. Anywhere away from home these days, boxing's so corrupt. Anywhere you go, you know, you got to be worried. You have. Because we've seen some dreadful decisions recently, haven't we? Let's be real, terrible decisions. And it makes you really think about these judges. These are not boxing people. These are guys just there. I mean, they've made up their mind, some of these judges, who's won this fight before it's even been fought, sort of thing. So this is how corrupt boxing is. So you have to take it out of the judges' hands and go for the stoppage. And that's why everyone loves big punches. The same we like about Wilder. I mean, let's be real. If Wilder couldn't punch, how many fights would he have lost on points? I mean, he was down on loads of... Spilp, he was losing on points. Washington, he was down on points. There's so many fights he's been down on points, but yet he's got that fucking equaliser.
That's right.
And that's the good thing about power. That's why I don't really back a lot of... I mean, I respect boxing skills, but if a fighter hasn't got punching power, I'm not too interested in them, to be honest with you.
Well, that's the thing about Lomachenko is he's not content to just outbox guys. He really does try to walk guys down at some point in the fight and get him out of there. I think he understands the fact that he needs to be impressive and get stoppages to keep his career going. Mus, you said then that you expect some shenanigans in the scorecards, or how do you see the fight going stylistically?
Stylistically, I think it'll be pretty even up until the end. I think then Lomachenko will start pulling weight, kind of again like similar to like Bellew and Usyk. You know how like kind of seemed or looked even like Bellew was like hanging in there like this first 4 or 5 rounds. Like I see it going like something like similar to that until Lomachenko figures him out like by like maybe like the third wave of the fight, like starting like the 8th round, and then either he gets a late KO or it goes to the cards, and maybe you'll see like one of the cards being like a draw or some kind of shenanigans, like I said.
Well, it is possible. I mean, that's why I respect Lomachenko, because he's taking a chance in this fight, traveling abroad. He doesn't really have to. I mean, if he wanted to, he could stay in the United States, but he feels the need to travel abroad and really get himself or fight in front of an international audience. So good for him on that. One thing I will say about Lomachenko is the fact that he throws so many feints at you. Because it's one thing to practice the feints. It's another thing to actually do them during the sparring, and then to have them instilled in your brain and be able to pull off so many feints in the actual fight itself. Because I tell you, I was looking at the Rigondeaux fight. I did a film study after the Rigondeaux fight and posted how Lomachenko actually beat Rigondeaux despite not landing that many shots, and it was all feints. That's how he keeps everybody in a state of stress, because you don't... First of all, not only are the feints good to set up his offense, but once he actually lets the hands go, they're pretty quick. So it's a double threat right there. And so, I don't know. Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, you cut out, bro. I thought you'd stopped. Go on.
Well, yeah. So all I'm saying is the only guy that I've been able to see so far go feint for feint against Lomachenko almost was Pedraza. He did frustrate Lomachenko a little bit. So in this fight, I think like Luke Campbell, who has size and reach and hand speed, he needs to go feint for feint against Lomachenko. Otherwise, he's just going to get overwhelmed in there.
Yeah, I think the problem with Lomachenko,
Yeah,
I mean, he gives his opponents so much to think about, where they actually freeze and don't do anything. It's like you've got so many things coming through your mind where you don't pick one, and before you know it, you're getting pieced up with a combination. I think the way to be, I mean, it's a strange way of saying it, but instead of like using the head, like punching in spaces and hoping he fucking walks into it. If you get what I'm trying to say, I don't think you can start like clocking this guy from all sorts of angles. He's just not there too long, is he? He's in, he's out, and the angles he comes from, his steps, the footwork. I mean, he's just very hard to connect clean with. So I think you've got to punch into spaces, sort of thing. And well, you know, like I said, you have to have them attributes I said earlier. You can't. I mean, Luke Campbell's problem is he just don't have the punching power to knock Lomachenko. And people say, yeah, he's got good punching power, but he's not. He don't punch harder than Nicholas Walters, and punching power isn't enough. That
yeah, that's
he doesn't punch harder than Rigondeaux, and punching power wasn't enough that night. You need to have the full package, and Luke Campbell just doesn't have that for me. So.
Absolutely. That's a good point. That's well said. You need to be the complete package to be able to go rounds, competitive rounds against Lomachenko, the way Linares did, because he had a special skill, special talent, I should say, a special tool, which is hand speed. If you don't have hand speed, it's going to be hard to make it competitive against Lomachenko. Just look at guys like Krolla, Jason Sosa, who is explosive, but he's not a blazing hand speed type of guy. Mus, we got to move on, but anything else you want to say before we move on?
I was going to ask, did you guys already cover the undercard, the Povetkin and Fury fight, or is that coming up?
We're going to get to that, but I mean, you want to say something before we move on?
I'll give Fury credit.
I'll just say thanks for accepting my call, and I'm glad to be on the show finally, and just love what you guys are doing. You guys have a really decent tight group there, so keep up the good work, guys.
Well, thank you, man, and thank you for listening. We certainly appreciate the support, and thank you for calling in. And call back next episode, or even today if we still have time.
All right, sounds good. Thank you, guys.
All right, take it easy, Mus.
All right, take care, guys.
All right, that was the Muscle on the air, or AKA the Mus, Jake the Mus, as I like to call him. So shout out to the Mus for calling in. You guys, we want to talk about Povetkin Fury later on, but I want to stick to this Lomachenko subject because there's a lot to unravel here. The fact that I'll put it to you this way: back in 2006, Mayweather was considered the consensus pound-for-pound number one guy, and Pacquiao or Winky Wright were considered the number two. I still remember those debates in the message boards, but nobody disagreed that Mayweather was the number one pound-for-pound fighter. It wasn't until Pacquiao started, and when Winky Wright lost to Hopkins, Pacquiao kept winning and winning, and then once Mayweather took that year off in 2008, that's when Pacquiao became the consensus number one pound-for-pound, and that's when the debate started. But nobody said in 2005, 2006, oh, Mayweather's not pound for pound. He's overrated, blah, blah, blah. Lomachenko is really the only guy in the last couple of years that I've seen that he certainly is very dominant. He has beaten some very tough dudes and made them look mediocre. And yet people feel the need to bring him down and say that he's overrated and overhyped and that the only reason why he's rated so highly is because he's white. Guys, when was the last time you saw a fighter who conducts himself with decently, actually, I should say, outside of the ring? When's the last time we saw a guy with this type of accomplishments and this type of demeanor get besmirched so much in there?
It's ridiculous, but like I said, it fits into the topic of the show we had the other week. Is there racism in boxing? Of course there is, and like I said, it goes the other way as well. So I'm not just fighting one corner; it goes both ways. But if you understand boxing and love the sport, then how can you not see the skills of Lomachenko and see what a great fighter he is? You know,
exactly.
Everyone, there's too many boxing snobs around today where we just pick these fighters apart for every small detail that best at, you know, or look at a resume and say, well, go back 7 years and there's a bad defeat there or something, you know. This is what the boxing community's got like now. So this is why the zero is so important to these people. I mean, you only got to see how these people, they'll turn their back on a fighter. Badly. I mean, especially Americans will. The LDBC, mate, they'll soon turn their back on a fighter that gets.
Yeah.
I mean,
well, listen, they turned their back on Mayweather when he dared to.
Go
on. Yeah. Well, I'm saying they dared to. Well, actually, Mayweather dared to criticize Wilder after the Fury fight, and all these black boxing guys jumped on his ass, and he used to be the darling of the black community, and then all of a sudden, whoops, he became an Uncle Tom. So, yeah, it's pretty hard to keep certain people of that demographic satisfied. But I will say, moving on to the Lomachenko fight, I don't want to talk too much about social issues today, but here's what Orlando Salido said, speaking to Sky Sports. He said, Lomachenko versus Campbell. Orlando Salido is the only man to get the better of his Lomachenko, and this is how he did it. He said that he went to the body, and he said he took Lomachenko to school. He said, I showed him that there's a difference between the professional ranks and the amateur ranks, and he said that he wasn't ready for my style, and he says I taught him a lesson, and he says Lomachenko complained that he was repeatedly hit with low blows that the referee didn't punish, and Salido said that funny how he didn't complain during the fight, only afterwards. He needs to stop making excuses and give me credit for that performance. What do you guys think about that?
Zero credit from me. Zero. Yes, well, I'll give him credit for surviving. Give him credit for that. But let's be real. What fight was this? This fight was at 126, I believe.
Yeah, I think it was 126. Yes. Was it? Yeah, okay. McGregor just said yes.
The guy comes in on the scales at 140 pounds. That was like fucking like Josh Taylor's size, pro grade size. You know, look at the size of them guys. I mean, that's the size that Salido is in there, and he needs to realise where a belt is on a pair of shorts, because that was not on the belt. That was fucking. That was groin stuff. And let's be real. I mean, just getting hit in the groin with that cup around your bollocks, it's not a nice feeling, because it sort of grazes, and they're the ones that hurt the most. Sometimes you can get hit quite hard and it don't hurt as much, and someone could graze it and you're on the floor in agony. So they're the ones that hurt. So yeah, of course, that was low. And Salido's talking absolute horseshit, but this is a guy that I've never really liked, because he ducked the rematch. You know, he's talked a good game, ducked the rematch. You know, never wanted any part of Lomachenko after that. Got away with murder and thought, I'm not going back to the crime scene, sort of thing. And let's be real, this time he would have gone back to the crime scene and there would have been a fucking killer waiting for him. And he priced himself out. He took the Rocky Martinez fight, went life and death, I believe. Was it a draw or something like that? I can remember the fight.
Well, there was one.
Then Rocky Martinez found the balls to fight Lomachenko, and well, we all know what happened there. So Salido gets no credit whatsoever for me.
There was one Salido fight against Martinez. I forget which one. I think it was the one on the undercard of Mayweather Berto, but I think he won that fight, and he didn't get the win there. I guess I would have to rewatch the fight to really make a better assessment. I will say that if you're a Orlando Salido who has about 50 professional fights under your belt, and you have to go under that belt just to compete against a guy who's only fighting for the second time as a professional, I'd have a hard time sleeping at night after doing pulling those type of shenanigans. But then again, there's people out there that they have that do whatever it takes to win mentality, and I don't know how they can sleep at night doing that, but I guess some people just don't have morals out there. Now, the other thing about that is, I wanted to bring up to your attention something, because I was reading, against my better judgment, the news, actually the message board, boxing scene message board, which can be a cesspool of degeneracy when it comes to boxing. But I decided to see what people were saying about this fight, because Lomachenko said that he was overwhelmed by the show of support from the UK fans. And one comment that really struck me here was a guy that said that the public always knows substance when they see one. It doesn't matter where you come from. And that really does illustrate the British boxing fans. They really are, just like in Montreal here, they are very passionate when it comes to boxing, and they will root for their guy, but they will certainly show respect to the other guy as long as they're true boxers.
Go and look at the love Deontay Wilder gets in the UK, And he called us a racist nation because he called us racist because we wanted the other black dude to win. I mean, Anthony Joshua, work that one out. So, British boxing fans will back anyone that we respect. We respect the fighter. We respect what he's achieved, and they'll back anyone from anywhere. So, Lomachenko's getting the credit and the love over here because he's a world-class fighter. I mean, you could bring a chump over and no one's going to give a flying toss. It's because he's a world-class fighter. And it's just like Wilder. Wilder's a world-class fighter, whether you like him or not. He's got his foot, but he's a top fighter and he's a world champion. And he gets love over here as well. That's why I was a bit annoyed with Wilder when he made out that we were fucking racist when that weren't the case. He gets more love in the fucking UK than he does in America, that's for sure.
Well, Stu, Deontay Wilder, to be fair, is the guy that once looked at a coat hanger and called it racist. He will call anybody racist, so I don't put too much stock. He's cried wolf way too many times now.
The thing is, he said them things, and now he's back home in the UK. Reckon he's gone for a vacation. Come on in. Who goes to the UK for a vacation? I mean, let's be real, nobody.
Yeah, man. Well, what? The food. Come on, man. The British fry-up.
He's over there to build his name up again because he knows that it makes sense for him to be a name in the UK because there's money to be made over here. I mean, there's a reason Anthony Joshua is one of the highest paid fucking fighters in the world.
That's right.
There's money here.
By the way,
Wilder went stupid. He comes across as very stupid. I mean, fucking dumb as they come. But deep down, there is a brain cell in there, and he knows that it's good for business, and especially with this Fury fight coming on. I mean, it makes sense, and he knows that. So it's ridiculous that he called us racist. It really is.
I just want to say this. When he called that co-hanger racist, it's because the co-hanger was probably going to give him a premeditated abortion.
Oh, see, I didn't see that one coming. I did not see you going that route with the abortion. Well done. That was a well sticking the abortion. At least he didn't call the stairs racist after he threw himself down there trying to get rid of the baby.
You think this is all a big joke, don't you?
No, I don't think this is a big joke.
You're a comedian. You make people laugh.
Listen, we're just having a little fun here. What do you want from me? By the way, Shepherd the Sun says BDA likes that message board way too much. No, I wanna really read some comments to get something going because there is some magic in there amidst all the filth. I want to read another comment from Boxing Scene, by the way, and this guy says, anyone that denies that the UK has had a great influence in the resurgence in boxing in recent years is deluded, in my honest opinion. From pundits and media to talented amateurs and world champions, big events, filling arenas, domestic showdowns, and amazing fans, the UK is the place to be. To make it short, because it's a long comment, but it's true. I mean, listen, when people start talking about boxing nowadays, it's in a downslide, blah blah blah. How is it in a downslide? Look at all the Cubans that we always wanted, right? Cubans to make it over to the USA, and yeah, they haven't been stellar in the professional ranks, but they make things interesting. Look at all these fighters from the former Soviet Union bringing their asses over here and creating drama and excitement. Like this guy said in the comment section, the UK resurgence. I mean, it's and in Germany also. The people pay to see these boring ass fighters like Klitschko. They fill arenas to watch them. So I don't want to hear that.
Klitschko's entertaining. That's entertainment for the Germans. I mean, they're like fucking robots, aren't they? I mean, you could put fucking a pig on all day on the TV and they'd sit there watching it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, man. Yeah, I mean, have you ever looked at the pornography, man? Yeah, just take a look at their pornography. There's something wrong with them. I mean, they're not normal, but the point remains, they love their boxing, just like British fans and Montreal fans and the Mexican fans. So boxing right now is booming. Yeah, it's not perfect. Yeah, the division between promotional entities is preventing the fights that we really want to see from happening as soon as we want them, but they're gonna happen, guys. Come on, let's not make it out to be as if Crawford is never going to fight Terrell Spence. They're going to fight at some point if they keep winning. And
yeah, I think that fight. I can see where they're going with it. I think it makes sense for them to keep fighting and keep winning. Right now, it's going to make decent money, but it's not going to make money, and that's what they want. I think, like I said, if they both put their guys into this fight, they'll make a half decent package out of it, but it's going to be a long road back for him, sort of thing. Because once you lose that zero, and you're not that often, you're new to it, it's hard to get back on the pay-per-view. Like I said, Joshua's lucky because we'll just UK will back him either way. But in America, that defeat, I mean, did you take the pay-per-view off it as well, sort of thing. So it's going to be a long road back for the loser. So it makes sense for them to have a couple more fights and then just build it up a little bit. And I think Terence Crawford needs to start pulling his finger out a little bit because this guy, he just doesn't know how to build a fight. He's a nice guy, too nice sometimes. He needs to start getting in fucking Spencer's face and making it like Clubber Lang did to Rocky in Rocky 3, you know.
Well, Stu, he did do that. He did get in.
Yeah, but it was all nicey, weren't it? Let's be real. It was with a friendly sort of banter sort of
I don't know, man.
It weren't Mike Tyson sort of fucking beef, was it? Do you know what I mean?
Let's be real. He wasn't he wasn't threatening to rape his wife the way Wilder allegedly did to Brazil's
Lang
fight.
said to Rocky 3 and Rocky. Do you know what I mean?
Right, but here's the point, though. Here's the point.
Real man is and stuff like that.
Crawford's a bit of a nasty fella, though. He's not the most fan-friendly guy when it comes to autographs and all that. He doesn't talk to the media, and then he complains about how was that?
And he just doesn't do enough to build his name for me.
Yeah, he doesn't want to, but then on top of that, he's got to contend with again the demographic because of the fact that he's with Bob Arum. Some black people don't seem to like him because of that. And after the Joe Rogan podcast, there were some black YouTubers saying that, oh, he's an Uncle Tom sitting there. Somebody actually said that he was sitting there with the enemy. They called Joe Rogan, an Italian guy, or a guy of Italian descent, the enemy. So that's the problem. When you start seeing other races as the enemy, I don't really know how to talk boxing with you because you're obsessed with race. So that's the problem with Terence Crawford right now. He can't appeal really to many people because A, he doesn't have a lot of opponents. He doesn't have the best opponents available. He's not a fan-friendly guy to the fans. Obviously fan-friendly. He doesn't talk to the media. So he's got 3 strikes against him. And then on top of that, certain black fans don't like him because they think he's an Uncle Tom. So he's got to work his way up, keep winning, and look impressive. That's all he can do right now.
Like I said, in the build-up to Khan, was the guy even alive in that build-up? I mean, just stood there like a fucking zombie, man. Said nothing.
Right.
I mean, you know, in America, it's all about show business. Look what Tyson Fury. Look how he made an entrance in the States, man. That's why they love him over there because he's a fucking clown, isn't he? And they like all that.
Exactly.
I'm not saying Crawford should come in the ring dressed as Apollo Creed. Do you know what I mean? I'm not saying that, but I'm saying he's got to fucking spice it up a little bit. He's like a flexible foam balsa wood. I mean, there's just nothing. It's like someone's fucking turned the switch off on him when he's in fight camp sort of thing. Just don't build these fights up. And I think if you're demanding big paydays like Crawford is, 4 or 5 million at times, at least get fans on side.
Yeah. Now, to Crawford's credit, though, he was on the Joe Rogan podcast and he wasn't all that animated either. It's just not him. Some people aren't built to be in front of a mic and really draw a crowd. Some people aren't McGregor, some people aren't Tyson Fury or Deontay Wilder even. Because even Wilder, despite whether you like or dislike his approach, he certainly has captured attention in the way he talks. So Crawford's just not that type of guy. So if he's not that type of dude, he's not an entertainer outside of the ring, then just do what you got to do, which is keep winning inside the ring. Also, before we continue, we got a phone call, 585, but I do have to go to the little boys' room, so I'll let Stu and McGregor take care of the caller. But before that, I just want to say who it is. 585, you're on the air. 585.
How you guys doing? This is Vince.
You there?
Oh, 58, it's Vinny Mac. Vinny Mac, everybody in the house. How are you, Vinny?
How you guys doing?
Good to have you on board. Listen, I gotta go real quick.
Okay.
Fantastic, that's great to hear. I gotta go real quick. Be back in about 2 minutes, but I'll leave you with Stu and McGregor, right?
That's fine. Thank you.
All right, fantastic.
How's it going, Vinny Mac? How are you today, good sir?
How you doing, McGregor? Pretty good. I see today's topic.
What did you want?
How you doing, Stu?
Go ahead.
How you doing, Vinny? All right. Go ahead, brother.
Is all right. And if Lomachenko is all hype, or is he the real deal? I think he's all hype. I'm sorry, guys.
Yeah, well, not surprised.
I'm sorry.
Whoa.
That was reality. Then
he got dropped by
we
Jorge
have to get
Linares.
right to reality, and that's what Vinnie Mac's going to come out with.
Back to
Go ahead,
Just
Vinny.
State
Exactly.
your reasons,
Go
Vinny.
ahead.
Oh, sorry, Vinny. Sorry. State your reasons why Lomachenko's a hype job.
Sure. He lost to Orlando Salido. Bargain, yes. That was only his second professional fight. But still, there's no excuse for that. Also,
hang on a minute. Orlando Salido's a
Rigondeaux. But
world
Rigondeaux,
champion.
yes, go ahead. I'll wait. Go ahead.
Orlando Salido is a 3-weight world champion. Again, right? Who was 147 pounds on the night, by the way, and low blowed all night. And to fight someone like that in their second fight, I mean, even though he got beat on paper, I mean, still some achievement because he nearly stopped Salido. As you know, in their second fight, has fought anyone a tenth of the resume Orlando Salido's got.
Stu, I understand what you're saying, and I understand that he was ready to knock out Orlando Salido in that 12th round. And if it would have been a 13th round, I think he probably would have knocked him out. And he figured it too late at that point. It was too late. Okay? And also, I have a couple people ahead of him, pound for pound. Should I name them
fine.
off?
Yeah, go ahead.
Sure. Okay, here we go. Okay, Terrence Bud Crawford. Earl Spence Jr.
You say Errol Spence?
Alexander Usyk. Yes, go ahead, Stu.
I'll continue, Vinny. Continue.
Yes. Sure. Canelo. I use steroids. Alvarez. Number 5. Deontay, the Bronx Bomber Wilder.
The Bronx
You guys
Bomber.
can talk all the junk you want. You guys can talk
Told
all
you he
you
was
want,
gay.
okay? But the fact is, if he fought Wilder would knock his head to the second row, okay? And then I have.
But come on, man.
Yes,
that's like saying. Yeah, but look, what you just said. That's like saying if. Yeah, but that's like saying if Andre the Giant fought fucking Warwick Davis. You know. What are you trying to say here, man? I mean, how can you say Deontay Wilder knocked Lomachenko's head? Of course he would. And if he couldn't, then there'd be fucking major questions asked about the guy. Of course he would. That's the reason we have weight divisions. And let's be real, with the small guys, sometimes difference before to another division. So that's why we have them, because size matters in boxing. So I don't.
In everything, though, in everything,
know
size matters in everything. By the way.
Not always the case.
Ah, come on.
Whoa.
Exactly.
Vinny Matt will tell you that.
Vinny, how much you packing down there, if I may ask?
I'll tell you this: I'm packing more than Lomachenko.
Oh, wait! I mean, how do you know that? Have you seen?
Wait, no,
Lomachenko?
hold on, bro. You're 3.5 inches at least.
How did you know my length? No, I'm kidding. Listen.
No, that's your girth. I have a funny feeling about that.
Oh, now well, listen. Here's the thing, though. I agree, Lomachenko's smaller than Deontay Wilder in terms of size, the weight and all that. But I bet you he's got better credit than Deontay Wilder. That's just my opinion. That's just my feeling on that. Vinny Mac, you gave us your pound for pound list, and you stayed consistent because you'd given it before that in another episode. So I'm glad you're consistent. I gotta ask you. Have you considered my offer for me to take you under your wing and mentor you in order to have better predictions in the future?
Is this Bucho?
This is BDA. This is BDA. Come on. Stop kidding around.
Okay, I don't know the difference.
Well, you should.
You guys both sound the same. But
No, we don't. No, we don't.
I'm sorry about that, Mr. BDA. I'm sorry. I have to decline. Excuse me?
I didn't say anything. Keep going.
Oh, okay. I thought I heard something in the background here.
Oh, no.
I'm sorry, but I have to decline your offer just because I know my boxing and I know what I'm seeing. So my eyes do not. They do not lie. Basically, is what I'm trying to say.
I get it. I get it.
I think they do lie. I think they do lie. I think they're pathological.
Yes, go ahead.
I tell you what, mate. Like I said, Vinny, your eyes, I'd get a new pair if I were you because they've been lying to you for a fucking long time.
Oh, come on.
Those eyes are almost disassociation, man.
No,
He
no,
has
no.
disassociative eyes.
Are you serious right now?
These
I just had a
eyes
couple bad
saw
picks, okay?
Anthony Yard
You
being
can't harp
victorious
on me
on
for that.
Friday night. Was it Saturday night? I mean, what happened there? Your eyes lied to you again.
His left eye belongs to Margarito.
Listen, okay.
His right eye belongs to Jack Farmer.
Listen.
No,
I hope Javante Tank Davis accepts Lomachenko's offer so he can show you guys how overrated he is.
Well, I certainly hope that fight happens too, but let's not get ahead of ourselves, Vinny. Luke Campbell, Lomachenko still has to get past Luke Campbell, and if I remember correctly, you picked Campbell for the upset, right?
Correct. This is why, okay?
Go ahead.
People are going to say I'm a hater of Lomachenko. I'm a hater of whoever else, some pro PBC or whatever.
Nah.
That's not true, okay? This is the reason why I'm picking Luke Campbell. He's a very good boxer, underrated to me.
Yeah.
He has long arms. He's the bigger guy, similar to Jorge Linares. He's going to give Lomachenko problems in there. And don't be surprised, guys. Don't be surprised if I win this one. That's all I'm going to say.
Listen, mate, he could give him problems, isn't it? I say it's a boxing ring. There's two guys, both got hands, and I just don't see it. My eyes are seeing a different thing, if you get what I'm saying. But like I said, you never know. You could be right on the night, and then I will be eating my crow. But I just don't see it. I really don't.
You'll be eating a fry-up, if I know you correctly. Now, Vinny, who's got a bigger dick, Lomachenko or Campbell? Come on. That's where we're at right now. This is where the show is at right now.
Well, I don't go that way, but I would say Luke Campbell.
He says Luke Campbell. I agree. Luke Campbell seems to me like he's got the type of like a thin but long dick. I don't know why. That's just the way I see it. I could be wrong though.
No, I can't. That's crazy. Okay. Can we stick to boxing?
It's that
before I
incestuous
start to throw up here, please.
Vinny,
Anyway.
I mean, I don't think I've heard you get one right yet. You've been calling for a while now.
Really?
You haven't got one right yet.
Yeah, but hold on. I don't know if you heard what Stu just said, Vinny, but he said that you haven't gotten one prediction right, and he doesn't know what you're talking. Like he doesn't know where you're coming from, is what he's saying.
This is true. I haven't gotten any predictions right, but I will get one of these right.
I agree.
Okay, listen. Okay. My head says Lomachenko, but I'm going to root for Luke Campbell. I want Luke Campbell to pull this off. I don't like Lomachenko. I think he's overrated. He's hyped beyond belief. Yes, he is a very good fighter, but if he goes in there with a guy half a decent punch, like a Mikey Garcia or a Javante Tank Davis, he will get exposed.
I agree.
Why won't go on, McGregor? Yeah, go ahead, bro.
Yeah, Vinny, you just contradicted yourself because you said you're not biased. And then directly afterwards, you used the term, I'm using my heart to decide because I don't like this person. That's a contradiction of terms.
I prefer that. I prefer that, Vinny.
I'm not biased.
I prefer that, Vinny. Keeping it real. Not with all this bullshit.
I really do.
Hang on a minute, Vinny Mac. I prefer you when you're like that, bro. I respect you for that because you come on, kept it real. Look, I don't like Lomachenko. I just don't like the guy. I think he's a bum. For saying that, but at least you're keeping it real. There's no point coming on here picking every guy to beat Lomachenko to get one right. Do you know what I mean? Keep it real. Say the only reason you're picking Campbell is because you don't like Lomachenko, and I prefer that version. Instead of trying to break down, instead of bullshitting us trying to break down why Campbell's going to win this fight, at least keep it real. That's what you did. Respect, brother.
Can I say something real quick?
I'm not going to give him any fucking respect. That's not keeping it real. He's being a hypocrite. He's going back on what he's saying. I'm not biased, but I'm picking my heart.
Hold on. Guys,
with his heart because he hates Lomachenko. And we all know why, don't we?
Hold on. I didn't hear what Vinny said.
I hate Lomachenko.
Vinny, we didn't hear what you said. What did you say? Could you repeat that, please?
Yes. When Lomachenko and Rigondeaux were scheduled to fight, I told everyone Lomachenko was going to win that fight.
There you go, guys.
So how am I biased?
Oh, you got one right.
I just feel like he's overrated, and when I feel like a guy is overrated, I don't like them.
So why won't Tank
Frank.
Davis fight him then? You know, that guy you keep bigging up saying he's going to bash Lomachenko. Why won't he fight him? Why did Floyd Mayweather even say he's not ready for Lomachenko? That's his manager and promoter there. So don't want the fight. How many times has Lomachenko tried to make that fight? Mention Lomachenko's name to Tank Davis. He goes fucking white. Have you seen the film Powder? That guy in there where he just white as a fucking ghost. That's how Javante Davis goes every time.
Finally, somebody's seen Powder other than myself.
Mayweather.
Good. Was that Vinny? Sorry. What?
Yes. To respond to Stu,
Yes.
I believe that's all Mayweather. He doesn't want that fight, but I really do believe deep down Tank wants to destroy Lomachenko.
I agree. I think he wants to destroy him. I think he wants to be inside of him, just like Wilder wanted to be inside Tyson Fury. And listen, we got another phone call, so we got to move on, Vinny. But but thank you for calling. Anything else you want to say before we let you go?
Yes.
Please.
Yes. Yes. If I hear any more disrespect, I'm gonna have to call back in later. That's all I have for now.
All right.
If I hear something disrespectful, then I will call back.
And you will be taking names, right? Because you are prepared. But you will be taking names, right? Because you are prepared to file a police report.
Well, for this one, I do believe Loma probably will win this fight, but I'm going for Campbell, so I'm not taking names, not this week.
All right,
but
there you go. Fair enough.
Earl Spence, Sean Porter fight, I will be taking names.
Oh, all right.
Thank
fair
you.
enough. Fair enough, Vinny. Fair enough. Thank you for calling in.
You guys have a good night.
All right.
You too, man.
All right,
ahead,
peace
brother.
out, Vinny Cook.
That was Vinny Mac, whose eyes see something. So,
I mean, let's be real. Vinny predict rain, thunder, and lightning was above his head, so can't take the guy serious with Vinny. I'm not surprised. I'm not sure if he's a troll or not. I think this could be fucking Lopez calling him from his cell.
No, hold on. I'll tell you what's wrong with him. He's that dude who was in remedial English in grade 3 and glue.
Nah, listen, you guys talk. Nah. See, you guys are talking a big name now that he's gone, but you weren't talking smack to him when he was here. So I don't think.
I mean, I was trying to. It's kind of hard to get a word in it.
What are you trying to say there, Unrivaled? What are you trying to say? Your connection is not the greatest, man.
Every time I was about to rant, I was interrupted.
By whom?
You gotta get in, McGregor. You gotta get in. There's no point sulking in the background. You gotta get in, son. Get in hard, head first, Sean Porter style. Dive in there, brother. Chin
That's
in the
right.
air.
You gotta come in with the head, and when I'm not talking about your skull, I'm talking about the head of your
low
cock.
blows and stuff.
You gotta come in with the head of the cock. That's what you gotta do. Now listen, Vinny Mac. I don't think we should be disrespecting by calling him a troll. I think he's better than that. All right. So I'm not gonna let you guys besmirch. Yes, again, I use the word besmirch his reputation, especially when he's not on the line. And also for the people that are complaining about all my cock jokes, all I gotta say is this. So if your dick is big and your ass is tight, then you can get with me and we can fuck all night. That's right. And I got plenty more where that came from. All right, fellas. So keep complaining, and that's how I deal with complaints. I just double down. All right. We got another phone call. Hold on a second. 757. You're on the air. 757.
What in the man?
Now we got Nicholas
This
Walters.
is the man, Nicholas Walters.
Nicholas, what do you want to say now? Come on.
I call back because the pussy boy, Vinny, what's his name, Crack?
What about him?
What's the boy's name?
Vinny Mac.
Well, I tell Vinny Crack to lift my crack on my ass, saying about my boy, no mask.
Nah.
The boy
Listen.
whoop my ass.
Listen, I can't have that type of language, Nicholas. I gotta hang up on you, man. I can have that type of language on this show, all right? Sorry about that, but it just isn't gonna happen.
All right, I apologize, sir. I apologize. The blood clot boy. The boy is a retard, you know what?
See, I don't like the R word either. It's not politically correct, especially not here in Canada. You can go to jail for that, all right? So, Nicholas, I think you got to go tend to your wheat plants over there, your plantation of marijuana that you were growing in your backyard. By the way, what the hell are you doing in Virginia? I thought you were in Jamaica right now.
No, man. Me make sure the CIA, the FBI don't trust me, you know, say.
I think I understand what you said, yes. Anyway, Nicholas, thank you for calling again. I always appreciate professional boxers calling in. We got to move on because we got another phone call, but thank you for calling.
Yeah, but tell that boy Vinnie Mac, he's retarded.
Nah, come on. I just told you not to use that
Walk
word.
out.
I just told you not to use that word. You Jamaicans got to get your act together, man. Too much weed, too much ganja. That's what's screwing up your brain cells in there.
Yes, man. Rastafarian have to smoke his weed, you know.
All right. Nicholas, I got to let you go. Thank you for calling in, all right, man?
All right. Peace out, everybody, in BDA Boxing.
Man, that's every time I hear a Jamaican accent, I reach for the phone to call to dial 911. I know some people are not gonna like that, but hey, that's the way I do it. 929, you're on the air. 929.
Good evening, fellas. It's Virtuoso. What's going on?
Oh, Virtuoso, thank you for calling in, man. How are you?
I'm doing good, guys. I'm doing good, BDA. First off, I just want to say, anybody that makes the claim that Lomachenko is not pound for pound number one by using his loss to Salido as reference, you know, to use that as a case against them being number one, should be hung up on immediately. Like, not even able to finish the sentence at all, because you're talking about a loss that happened 5 years ago against a fighter who's no longer active. So by that logic, I guess, you know, maybe Canelo shouldn't be on the pound pound list. You know, he lost to Mayweather.
Good point.
Is Salido still active? Hell no. Fuck no. So let that shit go and look at the wins beyond that. You know, he beat Gary Russell. You know, he beat, you know, Nicholas Walters. You know, Rigondeaux. You know, these are world title holders. And he's able to implement a style that dominates his opponents on a consistent basis. And that's why he's pound for pound number one. Beforehand, I used to make the case. Well, I used to be supportive of Crawford being number one, but his campaign at 147 has been piss poor because partly due to this, you know, inability to maybe cross the other side of the street, you know, go sign with PBC because that's where the bigger names at 147 are. So his case is growing weaker for Crawford to be number one pound for pound. And I just think that it's no longer about, okay, what you did in the previous weight class before. It's about what you do currently. You know, what have you done for me lately? It's a subjective list, but we have to look at what they're doing currently, you know, how they're performing.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's if you stop getting good wins, somebody else is going to overtake in the pound for pound race. That's just the way it works. I mean, look at even Lomachenko this year. It's not exactly the most stellar year for him. I mean, Crawler, all right, a decent opponent, but nothing that's going to make anybody pound for pound number one from the start. And Luke Campbell, again, another fighter who's good, but he's not lighting the boxing world on fire. So Lomachenko at this point, he does have... he's at the risk of getting overtaken. In fact, McGregor, who just left, but he has Usyk pound for pound number one. So the pound for pound division class is really starting to shape up, and it's anybody's game right now. Or it could be everybody's game.
Yeah, I had Usyk number one also, you know, but you know, it could be neck and neck because their skills are very comparable. You know, they both got training tips from Anatoly, so it helps.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I gotta ask you though, do you agree with Vinnie Mac, the last caller, who said that Lomachenko might not be able to win this fight?
Absolutely not. I think in terms of volume punching and work rate, Lomachenko will definitely get the edge in this fight. Campbell, I guess, you know, yeah, he fights long, but how exactly is he gonna, you know, keep that jab pumping, you know, and you know, keep him off range, you know, keep him, you know, at his desired punching range. I don't find that, you know, very possible to do because Lomachenko is like he generates angles from various, you know, places. You know, he doesn't stay in one spot. He's not a come forward guy. So he's gonna have to deal with a lot of his, his feinting, his quick punches, short quick punches, and it's like I don't think he can keep up with Lomachenko, to be honest with you. I think it's gonna be. I think it might be, to me, a unanimous decision. I don't think Lomachenko is going to knock anybody out. Neither I think, Luke Campbell is going to go straight to the scorecards.
All right, well, there you go. You don't think he's going to be able to keep up with him. I think that's the consensus for most people. But let's not forget, man, the fight is in England, in the UK. Campbell is the homeboy.
Yeah, so, I mean, I just not, since that's the case, I mean, I don't think that's going to be a problem for Lomachenko. And the thing is, I applaud him for that, because like part of being a world champion is like taking your show on the road. How do you be a world champion and just fight exclusively on at Vegas? If you want to be recognizable, if you want to be world champion, you got to take your place, take your talents, everywhere.
Yeah, absolutely. That's why I'm giving Lomachenko tons of credit for moving to England for this fight. He doesn't have to, but he's obviously willing to take the risk to do that. Virtuoso, thank you for calling in, man. Anything else you want to say before we let you go?
No, I just want to say, keep the show going, man. I really enjoy it, Thanks, guys.
All right, thank you for calling in. Good call, good points, and call back next time.
Jesus Christ, BDA, all you got is on here is Michael Caine's nephew and brother.
All right, see you, Virtuoso. Take it easy. So, Johnny, but you were saying something? I couldn't hear you.
I said, yeah, about time. I says, you got fucking Michael Caine's nephew and fucking Irishman over here making comments. I can't even get a word in over here. Now, fuck promoting Crawford. He don't have to promote nothing. He's just being himself. I'd rather him be himself than put on some fugazi fucking act. I want to be a killer, Deontay Wilder.
And what are you going?
He's fine. He's fine. He's just got to keep doing his thing, knocking people out, and be himself. You don't have to put on no fucking class act to sell himself. What the fuck is this? Sell yourself.
I'm glad you ain't my promoter.
Yeah, well. If I was your promoter, I'd break fucking kneecaps to get you the fight. So think twice about that. But anyhow, yeah. He needs to sell himself. Oh, get the fuck out of here. That's number one. Number two, Lord Edward the Longshanks has already got the fucking scorecards written up for Luke Campbell. It's going to be fucking, if it's even remotely close, if it's 9-3, 8-4, they're going to call it a split decision. It's going to be a fucking, it's going to be a draw. Lord Edwin's got it all situated. That's why he fucking pissed and moaned and cried about having this fight over in the UK. That's number two. Number three, go fuck yourself. That's it. Go ahead.
I had a hard time just figuring out what the heck you're saying, man. All right, so you're saying Crawford should just do a better job. I missed what you were saying, man. Sorry. I think you're gonna have to repeat everything.
No.
What?
No, all Crawford's got to do is keep kicking ass and taking names. That's all he's got to do. It's not his fault. It ain't Bob Arum's fault. It ain't nobody's fault that fucking Floyd Mayweather's cousin Al Heyman won't come sit down and negotiate. That's not Bob's fault.
Well, I don't know. I don't know the behind the scenes stuff about Terence Crawford. I don't really know if it's. I don't, because listen, Bob Arum. Let's face the fact. He's just as dirty as Al Heyman. They're both promoters. They're not going to tell you the full on truth. So who knows who's really holding up this fight? Sorry, Stu.
No. Wait a second here. Wait a minute now. How it took us 3 years to even get that Danny Garcia Thurman fight. But then everybody goes, oh, well, if he was with the PBC, bullshit. He'd still be milking it for another 4 fucking years till both guys are 37 years old. Then we're going to get some half-ass, both past their prime, and then this is going to be called it's Ray Leonard Hearns all over again. Get the fuck out of here.
That's a good point. That's a good point. That Danny Garcia Thurman.
I don't agree with Johnny when he said about Crawford just being himself and not built. So this is a.
But Stu, what is he supposed to do? Put on some fake fucking act like Anthony?
Yeah, but no one's saying that. No one's saying he's got to be a fucking cornball, but just do something. The guy's not even fucking talking. Go and watch the build-up against Khan. I mean, honestly, I've never watched anything so tedious in my life. I mean, Amir Khan looked like the interesting guy. And I mean, that says it all. So
that's because
he's not selling big pay-per-views. Look at his pay-per-view numbers, bro. This guy's a pound-for-pound fighter.
Well, number one, first of all, like I said, what is he gonna do? Say you put on this fucking act to sell the fight, and again, it's against Khan. If it's against Khan, maybe if Al Heyman recovered his fucking balls and actually come to sit down, then maybe he'd get a little bit more amped up for the fight. It's not. I'd much rather the dude's a killer, bro.
Yeah, but I'm just talking about.
Hold on. Crawford's a killer, bro. He just sits there, he don't say nothing, and when it's time to rock, he rocks. I'd rather him do that than fucking talk a bunch of shit and be Angel Garcia fucking from Nebraska to promote a fucking fight. No.
The thing is, though, like I said, he's demanding big fees, right? And if he's not bringing the money in, then big fees will soon stop. You know, you have to. You know, like I said, the reason the big guys are making the big money is because they're constantly on the radio. Crawford don't do interviews. He's not getting himself.
That's not true at all, bro.
Hold on, Johnny boy. Let's do finish, man. You're getting a little bit out of line today, man. I don't know what you're doing. You're talking over everybody. Go ahead, Stu. Let him reply.
He's all right. He's all right.
My bad, Stu. Go ahead.
No, I'm just saying that I don't agree with you. I think sometimes the fighters have to put a bit of work in. You know, if you want big money, then you got to go on these press tours. You've got to, you know, go to these radio stations. You've got to get your name out there. I'm not saying go and act like a fucking cornball, but just show a bit of fucking life in the guy. I mean, just anything. That's all I'm saying. And because it goes both ways, mate. You can't sit there in your room expecting $8 million a fight when you're bringing in $3 million on pay-per-view. They're not going to keep taking losses.
Okay, now here's the thing. One, you can't compare it to heavyweights because the heavyweights have always made more fucking money than everybody else. That's number one. Number two.
That's incorrect.
Yeah, bullshit. For the most part, it's true. Number two, what? Like I say, bro. What the fuck is the guy supposed to? Did George Foreman talk a bunch when he was going in there to fight Ali? No, he was silent and he went in there and did his fucking job. And Norton and all these guys. No, you don't have to talk.
Yeah, but George Foreman was known worldwide. Who the fuck knows Terence Crawford outside Nebraska? Nobody.
All right, hold on. I want to get McGregor's take on this because he was going to say something about the heavyweights. McGregor, go ahead, please.
I mean, Johnny wants to say that heavyweights have always made the most money, and then he calls bullshit. Yeah, they made the most money in 3 decades. The sport's been around for 12.
Okay,
60s, 70s, and 90s. You know this.
Dracula's fucking cave, McGregor. I'm sorry.
What about in the 80s? Why didn't they make the most amount of money in the 80s?
What does Sugar Ray Leonard earn against Hagler? Fucking, he made millions, didn't he? What did he make?
What about in 2000? All the way through the 2000s and 2010s. It's only in the last couple of years where heavyweights have started to make more money. Klitschko wasn't making more money than Mayweather. He wasn't making more than Pacquiao. Those boys weren't doing that.
Yeah, that's true. That is very true. He was making good money, but nowhere near.
That's because the division was dead at that time, though, bro. That's not, you know.
Then why were the welterweights in the 80s making more money than the heavyweights in the 80s?
Because the fucking and then Tyson came around and vice versa. Bro.
Yeah, but Tyson didn't start making the mega bucks until 90. It wasn't until 90 that Tyson. No, it wasn't. It wasn't until. Go and actually research it, Johnny. Go look at when his purses started to actually climb with Tyson. 88 through 89, Tyson was up, but he wasn't the highest paid athlete that year. It wasn't until 1992 where he officially did. Come on, bro.
The highest paid athlete or fighter?
Fighter.
Who was then, bro?
In 88?
It doesn't matter.
Through the 80s, it was Leonard, Hagler, and Hearns. Tyson didn't become the highest paid boxers and one of the highest paid boxers until Buster Douglas, and then onward. No, he wasn't number one until then. And even then, you're only able to give me one name. I'm giving you 3.
Hold on.
Listen.
Listen.
Wasn't a big fight. Larry Holmes wasn't a big fight. None of that was big. He didn't make no money.
It didn't do more. It didn't do more than Hagler Leonard.
Okay, but those guys are all-time greats, bro. Like what the fuck?
So are Holmes and Tyson. What's your point?
The point is, the fucking kid don't have to sell himself. He just has to be himself, bro.
Well, hold on. Let's get to that. Let's get to
And even then, they had to pull out a fucking dead Larry Holmes to give Mike Tyson a fucking payday.
All right, hold on. We're getting away from the subject at hand, which Johnny Boy just brought us back to, which is that Terence Crawford. He says Terence Crawford doesn't have to sell himself, which I agree. Listen, I'd rather have a guy be himself than put on a silly act. That being said, Terence Crawford has a mean streak inside of him. His mother keeps talking about how he was the baddest man in the ghetto. You know, he could put it on everybody. He ain't no bitch. All right, so pull out a little bit of that during the press conference. Talk, say what you mean, because I guarantee you he doesn't respect his opponents. In fact, he clowns his opponents. It's something I dislike. So, but hold on. Let me finish, please. So I think he should stop trying, because I think what happens with him is he gets self-conscious in front of the cameras. He gets shy. He doesn't know what to do. Look at his podcast with Joe Rogan. A lot of I think that I'm just gonna be the greatest fight. There was a lot of that. That's not gonna sell you fights. Now you can complain long and hard about how nobody wants to see you fight, how you don't get support from the media. But like Stu said, listen, if I were a fighter, I would hate to do all these little press clippings and all these interviews and all that. But that's the part of the game. You have to do those if you want to sell your fight. And if you don't want to sell your fight, if you want to shun the media out, they don't complain that that they're not supporting you and you're not getting the big numbers and the big paydays. Because the fact is, you gotta whore yourself out a little bit in this game. It's show business. It is show business.
But BDA, I understand what you're saying, but that's the problem, bro. People are too focused up on press conferences and nonsense when I just want to see the fucking fight, bro. He don't have to do nothing, man.
But I agree with you. I don't even watch half of them. But yeah. the reality of boxing is, bro, that you have to do that shit if you want to be. Do you think Canelo Alvarez, a multi-millionaire, he has to do it?
Jack Dempsey having 1,000 press conferences and come on, man, nah, bro.
Was cameras even invented? Nah, but you know what I'm saying? A bit different back then.
I didn't mean to bite nobody's head off in here either. I'm just saying, bro. Like he don't have to do shit, dog. Like,
well, let me clarify that. Let me clarify my position here. I agree with you, Johnny Boy, in the sense that you don't have to be a flamboyant or a big mouth or loud mouth to be able to make good paydays. All you have to do is eventually keep winning, and eventually you get a shot. For example, Bernard Hopkins, the quintessential guy who, he was very braggadocious in certain instances, but he wasn't a big name. He was avoided by some of the big names. He was fighting, a year prior to or 2 years prior to the Trinidad fight, he only made, but he made $100,000 for the Eccles fight. So, but he kept winning and winning and winning, and eventually he got a title shot. So I understand that point of view of what you're saying. My point of view is, if you want to be that big star, if you want to make that money, it's not enough to just be impressive. You have to be overly impressive and get a lot of knockouts the way Tyson did, or you got to, be a little interesting outside of the ring. And with the way Crawford shuns the media and shuns the fans, and the fact that he's not the most articulate fella out there, that's what hurts him. That's all we're saying. But we're not saying that he should turn into a clown all of a sudden.
BDA. Okay, so you see now I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say this real quick. Go listen to the song "Simple Man" by Sugar Ray or by fucking Leonard Skinner. He's
Sugar Ray.
With what
you were gonna say Sugar Ray
instead of trying to be fucking a big superstar and all this other bullshit. What's wrong with just being content with what you got, bro?
There's nothing wrong with it. Well, there's nothing wrong with it.
Can I chime in?
Yes, go ahead, Burger. Go ahead.
Right. So, like Johnny said, Dempsey didn't need to do anything. Back in the 20s, where people were tougher and stuff, and they actually respected people based on who they were. We live in 2019.
That's right.
We live of where people constantly bitch about everything. That's all they do on a regular basis. Even right now, that's all we're doing on this podcast is bitching about bullshit. That's all people do. And the way you sell yourself is by being a bitch or being something that goes around. If you're just going to be... No, stop. It doesn't matter about in the ring. No point in doing stuff in the ring if nobody's watching. That doesn't sell it. Being in the ring doesn't sell it anymore. Look, at the end of the day, Crawford, 20 times the fighter Broner is, can't do half the fucking sales he does.
Bruh, okay, so what do you want the guy to do? Come into some
what do I want him to do? I want him to trash talk. I'd like him to trash talk. I would love to see him after a fight after a fight instead of saying whoever my management says I can fight, that's who I'm gonna fight. I'd rather him say I want Spence, but he's too much of a chicken shit bitch to fight me. That's what I'd like to see, Johnny. And you know you'd like to see it too. Don't even tell me you wouldn't.
Johnny boy, get in. Johnny boy, get in. Johnny boy, get in. Johnny boy, get in there, man. You're gonna let him get away with that?
You gotta get in there! Get in there! What are we waiting for? Come on, let's go!
Right, McGregor. You're right. I want to see that fight as bad as anybody else.
That's right.
Like I say, what do you just be content with what you got? You do work with what you got, bro. It doesn't matter. And and every fucking welterweight on the PBC side of things come out. Oh, I want to thank Al Heyman. Does the same shit. And also, what do you want him to do? Come into some faggot ass Hector Camacho outfit when he comes in the ring?
No, that's not what I want him to do. I want him to specifically call the dudes on their bullshit. Call them bitches in front of people instead of not doing it. Call them out so the fans will put the boycott the shit. Do what people have done in the past. Promote yourself. You want him to be content with what he's got. Be content when he's worth more. Other guys out there who aren't worth a fraction of the shit he is are making more bullshit.
All right, listen. Let me say something here because I wanted to say something before McGregor spoke about that, which is, I understand your point of view, Johnny boy. If you're not wired that way to be a braggadocious loudmouth, don't do it. But the point is, Crawford, he's a bit of a special case because he is very a little bit smug in there, and he clowns his opponents in the ring. So he definitely has that inside of him. But then he shuns the media, he shuns the fans, and has the goal to complain, "Hey, how come I'm not a bigger name?" Well, you can't have it both ways. But I do agree. I do prefer a fighter who's the silent killer type, like Eric Morales, for example. You know, he wasn't barking and talking. He would go into the ring, do his job. Julio Chavez too, and he would do his job and then get out of the way afterwards. He wouldn't talk.
Eric Morales is a different culture. American and Mexicans are different when it comes to what McGregor said was spot on. Couldn't have said it better myself. He's 100% correct. The problem is I agree with what Johnny's saying in bits, because he's right. It shouldn't have to be like that. Crawford should just have to go in the ring, perform, and that should be enough. But today's society is a trashy society where people like Broner, like McGregor said, will get far more attention than guys like Terence Crawford. And it's a shame. It's not right, but it's reality.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like I want him to come in the ring looking like fucking Hector Camacho. I don't want it with Paulie. I don't want him to come in with Paulie Malignaggi beads or anything like that. I just want him to sort of spice it up a little bit. He's like a block of wood. He really is.
I got you, Stu. And again, I'm not trying to bite nobody's fucking head off here. I was just saying, like, yeah, okay, talk a little bit more shit. Talk a little bit more shit. Not to mention he was just on the zone saying, what fucking side of the street are you talking about? There is no fucking street. What do you talk? But at the same time, yeah, talk a little bit more shit. Okay, fine. But at the same time, don't be a fucking clown like Joshua or Wilder or the Prince or nothing like that. It's
agree.
a double.
Yeah,
it's a double.
America's a different demographic to Mexico. Eric Morales being a Mexican legend's enough. The Mexicans will back that guy. They'll follow him. He doesn't need to do all that because his resume speaks for himself, and the Mexicans will back their guys. It's like a lion's den in America. You're competing with so many different athletes, and they don't really care too much for boxing. Let's be real, the majority. So you have to work that extra bit harder in boxing to be a big star, and that's why Deontay Wilder, unfortunately, he's tried, but because he's so low IQ, the way he's doing it, it's sort of like come off as a bit of a cornball, and it's backfired on sort of thing. But I don't expect him to be like that. I just expect him to go out and promote himself, like McGregor said, because, like I said, it's a tough business, boxing, and you've got to put the work in.
Before we continue, sorry to interrupt, but before we continue, I gotta take a phone call because we're running out of time here. Real quick, 267, you're on the air. 267.
Oh shoot, what's up? I mean, I just wanted to touch on the conversation that you guys had going on already, especially when it comes to upcoming boxers and even boxers who've been in the game for a long time. You know, just making a market for themselves. And you guys said, hey, Crawford clearly has 10,000 more skills than Broner does, but not even half of a quarter of the personality. So, and like you said, it shows up in the pay-per-view. Broner's numbers, which I think he figured out a long, long time ago through help with Floyd Mayweather. And I feel like a lot of more people should follow that blueprint. And it's true that it comes off, like with Wilder, for example, it comes off as, hey, this guy, he's clearly trying to promote himself. not the best spoken person in the boxing community, but you know, he's making an effort. And like Crawford, for example, we have no quotables from him. You know, Errol Spence, we get quotables from him. He had the man down thing going on. Sean Porter, he's open giving out plenty of interviews. Anyone can interview Sean Porter. Adrian Broner, almost every single fight you get a quotable from him, which means more views for him. So Crawford should definitely figure those things out. His trainer talks way more than he does. And I mean, yeah, that's really good. I kind of jumped in here late, so I kind of missed, you know, the first half of the conversations talking about Lomachenko and what he brings to the table and everything. But what you guys have here is great, and I really appreciate what you guys got going on.
I'm going to keep it real. I like Prograis. I mean, he's as arrogant as they come. He's as loud as they come as well. Yeah. But I like Prograis. I like the way he just tells it how it is. That's my sort of guy. I don't like these fucking these guys that don't say anything, just thank Al Heyman for everything. You know, no personality of their own.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. You know, I mean, they spend so much time in the gym. Hey, you got to express your character. You know, because one thing that Broner has said that I really do appreciate, you know, for all the banter that he does participate in, it's just you once you get in that ring. You know, everyone can talk for you and all that shit, but you got to talk for yourself. So you got to do what you got to do. And I do love Revis Prograis. Like, you clearly see he's confident in his abilities, and he'll call you out. He's like, hey, man, I'm the best from 140 down to 140 up. Come see me. You know, and people always say come see me, but as fans, we don't really get much. You know, we got to go off of what they're saying. I don't really feel come see you from Crawford. I mean, yeah, he hops in the ring and clearly picks people apart, but he's not telling everybody, hey, come see me.
Yeah, I think if you could take Prograis' personality and stick it into Terence Crawford, then you've got a superstar on your hands.
Man,
unfortunately, that can't happen. So I'm not saying Terence Crawford automatically like a Muhammad Ali trash talker. Of course not. But you just got to do something at least.
Right. Like, prime example for me that showed me, hey man, this guy has to put his foot on the gas. You know. Clearly, the fight that just happened, he wasn't listed on the welterweights. You know, Keith Thurman, Manny Pacquiao. He wasn't listed on the list of champions when he clearly is a champion. He's not just a big champion. Obviously, easy PR thing to do would be go on a bunch of interviews and make a big stink, even if you don't mean it, but make a big stink. Hey, they didn't put me up there on the top welterweight, so I'm going to show them who the fuck is who. That's what you should do. You know, Broner would have cried about it. Floyd Mayweather would have cried about it. Like, other boxers, they'd have cried about it. They'd have went on a 6-week tour of, hey, I'm the best welterweight, and I'm going to tell you guys why. It doesn't matter. Across the street. Like, that's the only quotable we got from Crawford his entire career.
All right. 267, your microphone, good comments, but your microphone is making a little bit of a clipping noise there.
I was just going to say, it sounded like somebody beatboxing over there.
Oh, yeah, I know what that is. I'll fix that for you. It's I was actually hanging the mic around my ear, and the earbud was tapping. Like, my bad about that.
Oh, you're right. All right, yeah. But so
quickly, the importance of building a fight. Just look at the Paulie Malignaggi bare knuckle fight, right? Like, if that weren't for Paulie, would anyone give a fucking toss about that fight?
Well,
no one would have watched it. Paulie made that an event that everyone tuned in. I mean, whether you like it or not, you all tuned in to watch it, didn't you? I'm not saying you hadn't paid for it, but you tuned in to watch it. And that's because Paulie made that event. And it was exciting when they were going back at each other, back and forth. Actually, well, I knew it was going to be trash because Paulie Malignaggi's never been in an exciting fight in his life. So I knew it was going to be a trash fight, and I still stand up to watch that thing because Paulie convinced me. That's what trash talking does.
Well, you know what? Let me get some of the because we got Recognized and Precise on the line. They just came in here. I want to get their thoughts on what the caller just said. Guys, thank you for being here. We're talking about at what point do you sell yourself out and turn the promotion into a circus, and at what point do you just become a bore outside of the ring and do no press? What are you guys' thoughts on all of this?
I say don't turn into Mikey Garcia. If you saw his recent interview with, I think it was Fight Hype, he acted like he had no idea the fight was going on. But I don't say sell yourself out. I say work on your character, because as humans, that's all we have. You know, you get to promote yourself however you like. So I say take advantage of that. You know, use the screen, because any press is good press. You know, you can turn it into anything.
All right, let me get
a lot of these people haven't figured that out yet.
All right, let me get Recognized and Precise in on this, guys. What do you think about that?
Go ahead, P. All right, I'll talk. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess you guys are talking about like how to market yourself and get the best bang for your buck, right? For the fight. I mean, look,
Yeah.
that really times you talk a lot of shit, but it just doesn't work out for you. So in other words, let's say you're Deontay Wilder. Like Deontay Wilder does talk a lot of shit, and he knocks a lot of people out, but something's missing, right? Because he's not really getting the top dollars. I mean, it's not all about that. I'm not saying that you should be, the name of the game for me to think that you're one of the greatest fighters is you getting paid money. But for them, obviously that's the mission.
It's the most money.
It's to get the most money. I'm sure Deontay Wilder would like to be getting the paydays that Anthony Joshua has. He might be better than Anthony Joshua in terms of just them two head on and who can win, but he's obviously not getting the money.
It's demographics, though, bro. If Deontay Wilder was British, he'd be making 25 million a fight.
You see, Stu, that's exactly what I was going to say. You see, there's so much things that go into that, so it's really hard to say. Terrence Crawford, a lot of people don't know who he is. Meaning, look, they people that know, casual boxing fans know certain names. You can just name some people. Those casuals make the difference. Me and you, we're hardcore fans, so I'm not gonna be surprised that you know who Terrence Crawford is. Now I know when Terrence Crawford is doing good. When I'm talking to a guy who's a football fan, I say, "Yo, that boy Terrence Crawford, man, he's really good," and he's like, "Yeah, man, I agree." But a lot of times I don't get that. I'll be like, "Yo, you ever seen Terrence Crawford fight?" And they're like, "Nah."
See, with the Wilder thing,
hold on. I want to get. Hold on. Sorry, Stu. Sorry.
Sorry, bro. I forgot the caller's on, isn't he?
Well, no, yeah. Well, I want to get Precise's opinion on this because we do have a lot of people right now. We got a lot of callers and a lot of panelists.
Precise. Is Precise here? Is he?
Yeah, Precise is a Precise.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Can you guys hear me? Okay. Look, I've been listening for a little bit. So you guys are talking about promoting yourself doesn't imply that you have to be a douchebag. So let's just get that off.
Yeah, exactly.
And promoting yourself, there's a million ways you can do this. The first thing you need to remember or realize is that you got to spend money to make it. What you do if you're Terrence Crawford, even if you're shy and you don't want to do any interview, hire a fucking publicist.
Right.
You pay some people some money to
write
fucking articles. How the fuck do 2 months go by and there's not even a single mention of Terrence Crawford on boxing? And how difficult is it to hire somebody to write a fucking article and it's not going to cost you shit? You know what I mean? How difficult is it to get a publicist that's going to write articles and post them on, Ring TV or whatever, all over the internet? How difficult is it to hire somebody to run your social media and promote you? How difficult is it to go on, late night TV shows or radio shows, start small and build up? How fucking difficult is it to go on the Boxing Voice for 20 minutes? You know what I mean? And talk some shit. How the fuck am I, as a boxing fan, not able to find out what Terrence Crawford is up to right now and who they're negotiating his next fight with? Now, they're working behind the scenes, but every step of the way, some douchebag should be writing an article on Boxing saying Terrence Crawford is negotiating a fight with Kovalev. And there's drama, like stupid shit. It's not that difficult. I'm online yesterday, and I'm searching for Terrence Crawford fucking articles. There's nothing out there. It's ridiculous how piss poor of a job they're doing promoting him. It's like they don't want him to succeed. And a lot of that falls on him too, because again, he's a fucking millionaire. He could spend $10,000 and he can make $1 million off the back of those $10,000 by hiring a couple of interns who want to get into sports journalism and they want to have some credits with Terrence Crawford's name on. You know what I mean? Come on.
That's perfect. That's perfect.
Yeah, that's spot on, Precise. I know we got people on here now. I was just gonna say that's spot on. All I was saying was don't sell your ass and be some fucking cartoon character like
you don't gotta do that though. You don't gotta do that at all. Oh, but you don't have to do.
I mean, Marvin Hagler never. There's always been fighters that never Like I get what Johnny Boy's saying. There's some guys because of their clown behavior, they sell more. That's because they're not really that good. Like, look, take Adrian Broner for example. Adrian Broner probably makes as. That shouldn't be the case, right? That should not be the case when you look at the talent. But it is what it is, right? I think Adrian Broner could demand just as much money as Terrence Crawford probably could. But Crawford is good enough where he can be in those situations where he doesn't need to talk crazy. But if he took the steps that Precise laid out, because this is social media, this is a different era from the 80s. Okay,
exactly,
where you had
bro.
Yeah,
exactly.
You know what I'm saying. So this is social media era. There is no excuse, like Precise said. There's many ways. He just laid it out. All this is true. Okay, all this is true.
Yeah. I've just got a question for you. Recognize, yeah.
Yeah.
If trash talk is in building your name is not important, then explain to me why Conor McGregor became the biggest star in the UFC. Because it wasn't because John Jones is far better fighter than Conor McGregor will ever be.
Yep.
But John Jones will never make the money Conor McGregor. Why did Conor McGregor make that money and become the star? Because he had a big mouth. He trash talked, but he was funny with it. He had a bit of wit. He wasn't a block word. Let's be real. So he was clever with it. But that's what made him his money. If he was all quiet like half of these UFC fighters, they're all fucking no personalities at all. Some of these UFC fighters, and they struggle to make the names, like I said. So trash
Wasn't
talking.
Conor McGregor also? I don't follow MMA that much, but wasn't McGregor also a knockout artist, like for his sport? Like he got a lot of knockouts.
That helps.
That helps too. That kind of helps too. You know?
That's why no one liked Demetrius Johnson. I mean, when you look at skills, Demetrius Johnson's up there pound for pound, brilliant fighter. But just no one could be bothered to watch this guy because he was small as well, and because it was just. People want to see knockouts. People want to see blood. That's why people will tune in and see Robbie Lawler ahead of someone like Demetrius. That's because people want to see blood and action. And if you haven't got that, then you've got to build your name like Floyd did. Trash talk and chat shit and find other ways to flash money at women and get strippers around you. Find other ways to get people on board. And like with Wilder, at least he's trying. I know he's a douchebag, but I mean, he's got there's like till this day, everyone knows about that now in boxing. Everyone knows the Wilder saying till this day. All that. He's leaving his marks there, and it's getting more popular by the day. Let's be real, the Tyson Fury fight. So he is getting there.
All right, listen, fellas, real quick.
America's a dog world. It's hard place to make money.
Yep.
I agree. Real quick, we're running out of time with the phone calls here, so I want to get 267. Anything else you want to say before we let you go?
No, I'm just listening. You guys can call me Drew, by the way.
All right,
I'd say when the guy came in and he said, "Hey, it's not much to spend $10,000 on a PR guy, right?" I think Floyd Mayweather really figured that out, especially taking advantage of social media. One thing I will say is, though, half of these guys who we're speaking about, a lot of them aren't really well spoken. Anthony Joshua, for example, and I've learned this because I've been to the UK and coming from America and everything. When you're well spoken, it makes a big difference. So even if you are talking trash and everything, people from all over the world can still understand what you're saying. So with Wilder talking crazy and Broner talking crazy, well, they're from Cincinnati and Tuscaloosa, respectively, so people in Australia may not even be able to understand what they're saying through their accents. So as much as you may give Floyd trash and everything, very well spoken, very well spoken, not afraid to talk to anybody. And the way he speaks, like you can just understand him if you understand English on the most basic level. So I feel
he's right. The guy's right. I mean, imagine if Joshua was like, I'm the champion, innit? I'm the greatest, won it.
Yeah,
like I'll be like, what the fuck is he saying? This guy's talking like I guess exactly. I'll just say I guess there's ghettos out in UK because I don't understand a damn word what he's saying.
I understand everything that it's still English. When the African Americans are talking, I understand them. Well, no matter where they're from, the South, the North, I understand them. So it's not.
But I think his point is the approach. Like the you don't really have to like really listen. Like when if you speak good English, You
Yeah, you don't
just
have to strain
you
your
just
ear.
you just like kind of like just
But
automatically
it's
want
a
to listen.
demographics thing. Like I said, you could get Terence Crawford, put him in the UK, it'd be a pay-per-view fighter, and he'd be making more money, and he'd be a big star over here. America's a different place. Like I said, boxing's they're not as passionate about boxing anymore, and it's a hard place to break into because, let's be real, they've got some good fighters over there that nobody knows who they are,
Right.
nobody's watching them, and
Yeah.
anywhere else in the world,
It takes
they'd be
it
big
takes
stars.
Terence
It's
Crawford
demographics.
15 minutes to finish his interview because he talks so slow.
Yeah,
That's
man.
why you have to
Listen,
do that extra trash talk and do it like Precise said. Do them things that Precise said. You got to do that little bit extra in America because it's a hard place to break through.
absolutely, absolutely. Listen, we're
Very true,
running out of time.
and you got to put yourself out there on social media.
Absolutely,
That's
absolutely.
the most
Yep.
important part.
I agree.
Because I follow American on Snapchat, and American by no means is an elite fighter. No means. Nothing he has is elite, probably besides speed, and I think that's it. That's just me personally, right? But American is always doing something. You know, he's always showing himself in the gym, showing himself doing something for the youth, or showing himself going to rallies or whatever. So
Or showing his
if you
cock.
just gain a following, yeah, doing something foolish, you know, he's just like that. Right. So he's getting caught, and outside of that, you know, he's just making himself available on social media. So I feel like doing that, that's what really, you know, puts you on those different platforms. You know, just being in Nebraska where almost no one lives, you know, like who lives in Nebraska? Nobody. You know, you already live in Nebraska, and then then you're a quiet person. Well, how much are we going to listen to you? You know,
That's a
like,
good point.
Here's a question for the caller. Can I just ask the caller a question quickly?
Real quick, because I got to take another phone call.
If Anthony Joshua was American, then would he be the money man that he is today, the big star, if he was American in America? Being humble and being polite.
Not the same level.
He wouldn't.
Not the same level. Not the same level at all. But no, not at all. Especially because he's not really a guy's gonna knock someone out. You know, Americans don't really care if you're not really gonna go balls to the wall out on your shield. You know, like if he was American and then lost to Ruiz like he did, oh, he's done. America's writing him off. They don't care. You know, like, but Brits, and not even Brits, but outside of America, it's more about the honor. You know, they respect the sport more for the honor and for the work that you put in, not just throwing a gajillion punches and knocking somebody out and making it look sexy. So
was Amir Khan's cock wearing a turban?
To please the American culture, it's very tough.
Now listen, Drew, good comments, man. Drew, thank you for calling in. I gotta take another phone call because we're running out of time. But thank you for calling in, Drew, and call back next time, all right?
Yeah, no problem. Thank you guys for accepting. Appreciate you guys. Keep it up.
Can I say something real quick?
Yes, please.
Look, if Anthony Joshua was American, and he went over to, let's say he went over to Germany, or even brought Klitschko over to America, and dethroned the so-called boring, one of the Klitschko brothers, and got rid of him, America would fall in love with the dude. He wouldn't have to talk trash. He wouldn't have to do any of that. He could just be himself. I think he'd be making a lot more money than he is right now.
I don't know, Precise, man. I don't know.
Why not? But why not? Why not?
I don't know, man. Did Klitschko's lost fights before? Did they jump on the bandwagon with them?
What about but Klitschko's, no, I'm talking if he were American.
Yeah,
Klitschko's aren't American.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. I do know what you're saying. I just don't.
America's been starved for a heavyweight champion, complaining about the Klitschkos, how much they don't like them. If this guy went over there and whooped their ass or whatever, took the title off
besides, you know what that
Klitschko.
was about, right? That wasn't what them not liking. What that? That's politics. It's not one of them.
Well, but I'm saying, if Joshua were American, he would be one of them. I think he would be.
I agree with that.
Maybe not as big of a star as he is right now, because the boxing is just bigger in the UK. Period. But I mean, he would be making a ton of money, and he'd be a huge star in America, being exactly the kind of guy that he is right now. I think America would take to him, and I think he would do very well.
I want to continue that subject, but before we do, last call of the night, 337. You're on the air. 337.
What's up, family? It's Dead Game Boxing.
Oh, Dead Game Boxing. How you doing, man?
I'm getting a lot of stuff what we talking about? What we talking about? If AJ was American?
Well, we're talking about whether what's the cutoff point where somebody should fake it his attitude a little bit to be a big star, and when they should stay true to themselves and just be a silent killer and do the job and do the talking in the ring as opposed to outside of the ring.
It's about being marketable. It's about what the fans want to see. In America, we like the hype. You know, we like the talk. We like the backing it up. But you know, you have to be able to sell yourself in America. If AJ was an American with the same type of attitude he have now, I mean, he would be a regular guy. I mean, you have Deontay Wilder, who is very outspoken, and he's just getting the respect and the limelight he's getting right now after 40 knockouts. So, you know, America is a different market. You have to put yourself out there, and you can't hold back your tongue. You just have to come out, all out. AJ is not that type of guy, I don't think, you know, but
well,
nah, AJ wouldn't be nothing here, man.
Well, let me ask you this, though. Let me ask you this, because what do you personally think of Deontay Wilder saying he wants to kill somebody, saying he wants to get pregnant, going up to Dominic Breazeale's wife and really making a fuss and threatening to attack the family? Like, do you think that's the reason why the public hasn't embraced him in America?
Now, why do I think that's why we have not embraced him? You said, or that's why we have?
That's why you haven't. That's why the American public have not embraced him yet.
Nah, I think it was more of I don't think he was promoted properly in the beginning. I think it had a lot to do with his promotion. I think him being outspoken is what made him hit the scene harder. When he said that, you know, he would get pregnant, you know, after watching his wife, girlfriend having a baby and seeing the miracle of a baby coming from. I didn't understand where he was. I understand where he's coming from, but it's just out there, you know. Deontay Wilder is just a special guy, you know. I mean,
oh, he's special,
he's just on another level, man. He's on another level. I mean, yeah, in all.
But
why isn't Wilder a star in America?
I'll tell you. You guys are making a.
Why is it?
I don't understand why it's so difficult. Let me tell you why Wilder isn't a star in America. Because he doesn't have sponsorships like Anthony Joshua. And why doesn't he have sponsorships? Because no multi-billion-dollar, million-dollar company is going to get behind a guy who's got a bunch of court cases and a questionable fucking past. You know what I mean? Anthony Joshua, I know he had some issues going on, but whatever. He was a gold medalist. He got a bunch of sponsors behind him, and he's played up the good guy. If you want to say it's fake, whatever, it's an act, he's done it. And that's why people got behind him. That's why companies got behind Triple G. Triple G is probably top 5 star in boxing right now. He's not even from America. So you don't have to be a trash talker. You don't have to be a douchebag. You could just be a nice guy, get in the ring, knock people the fuck out, have good PR team, get good people behind you, get all these sponsorships, and they're going to put your fucking face all over town on all these posters. You're going to be on TV. You're going to be all over the place. How can you fail? You can't. The reason why Wilder is not successful is because he's a scumbag. That's why people don't take the scumbag.
All right, let Dead Game answer because we only have a minute left with the phone calls. Dead Game, we only got a minute. You want to reply to that? We'll give you the last word.
The reason why Deontay Wilder is an African American. If he was white, he would be the best thing in the world. You know, you have guys that can come from Europe to America
10
and
seconds.
worship here. Because everyone is looking for the great white hope. Anybody who's white that fights like they're black, they're going to get more love here. You got to understand the culture here. You know,
all right.
You once you find the white man that can beat up the black guys,
I'm fucking done. I'm fucking done. I'm actually done. Are you serious, man?
Alright.
Are you
Hold on
taking
a
the
second.
piss?
Hold on a second. Hold
Hey
on.
man, this guy's fucking retarded, man. Get lost,
Dude,
dude. Get
nah,
lost.
bro.
Hold on a
What you
second.
call
Hold on,
yourself?
hold on, hold
Dead
on.
game?
No. Hold on.
Just look at
Hold on.
Lomachenko and Triple G and any other European descent, white
Alright,
looking
dead game.
person. They're
Dead
gonna
game.
be worse here, bro.
We got the point. I gotta let you go because the time is about to end. It's gonna cut off. Thank you for calling in, Dead Game, and we'll pursue this conversation later on. All right. All right. That was Dead Game. All right. So
That's literally the first black cuckold I've ever seen.
oh come on. No, he's not.
You
He's
know
not
something? Precise is right though. Listen, look. His fan fucking annoying. He is
Thank you for
fucking
using
annoying.
Blog Talk.
Nobody deal with that. I'm not gonna. You could have a lot of talent. Like the only talent he has, let's be frank, right? That's his talent. He's got a bomb right hand. But take that away, he has a shitty personality. He's kind of weird. You know, like he's a weirdo. One of the things that comes out of his mouth. He's a bit of a troublemaker to the point where he doesn't just keep that within boxing. Like it spill out, like what happened with Dominic Brazil and stuff like that. So, like, who's gonna get behind that? And then it's Eastern European or he's white. He keeps going back to this. Look, that's just simply not true. That's simply not true.
Look, man,
the biggest
if he
stars
wants
in
to-
America. I'm sorry, real quick, Precise. The biggest stars in all sports of America mainly are non-whites.
Exactly. That's what I was gonna say. Like, if you want to talk about the fucking culture, how do you ignore the NBA? How do you ignore the NFL? What the fuck are you talking about? Like, where do you get off saying this nonsense? The biggest, like you said, the biggest, most popular stars in America, sports personalities, are black. You're a fucking retard, okay?
Oh.
I'm sorry.
I mean, when you look at boxing,
hold on.
when you look at boxing pound for
Let on Rival say something because he wanted to say something to the guy, but we didn't have a chance because we ran out of time. Go ahead, Ron Rival, and then Stu will go.
No, it's just absolutely ridiculous. The Great White Hope, it comes up in every argument from a black person, mate. Like, straight the hell up. You want to talk about this shit and you don't know anything about the color line. You don't know when the Great White Hope even originated. So that's the first fucking thing. And then you're going to go and call Lomachenko a guy who's being outsold in America by Jose Luis Ramirez in Fresno. You really want to use that argument? Oh, Golovkin. The reason why Golovkin is a star is because your beloved fighters can't make something out of themselves bar Floyd. That's it. The rest of them are all whatever. Other than that, the biggest selling guy in America is a Mexican because they have countries behind them. He doesn't have to sell himself to his people, just like Pacquiao didn't. But you sellouts, you need to sell to each other so that you can look the same fucking thing. Ridiculous.
Why you gotta use all this kind of language, huh? Why you gotta use all this kind of language,
The Great White Hope comment. I mean, it's a bit old now. We're past that stage where we need a Great White Hope, and I think McGregor was on about Jess Willard. I think he was the first Great White Hope, wasn't he? But at the end of the day,
Jim Jeffries,
yeah. Well, I thought was it about Jack Johnson? I'm sure it was about Jack Johnson.
Jess Willard beat the shit out of Jack Johnson.
Yeah,
That's
anyway,
right.
the first Great
Hang
White
on,
Hope.
let me finish. Let me finish. When you look at the pound for pound list, I mean, we don't need Great White Hopes anymore. We have some very good fighters in the top 5 pound for pound. It's in my list, they're topping them. So, you know, when you look at the world champions we've got, the days of the Great White Hope, that just shows how limited they know about boxing. It really does. I mean, they're in this game for racial reasons, and
That's it. They don't understand the purity of boxing. It's like, look,
they don't.
You could like a fighter black. It, man. Totally get it. When I see, look, right now, like I always keep you guys, Puerto Rican boxing's in a drought. But I love boxing. I love boxing first. That's what I want to watch. Yeah, I don't mind if it's like the best fighters, 3-pound fighters, happens to be Rican. Yeah, I'll get behind that guy. Especially if he's, he can fight. He really belongs in the top 3. I like his personality. But, this whole thing about race is a myth. It's like, look, stop your lying. the best athletes, the top paid athletes, non-whites. They're not. Some of them are not even from the country. I love baseball. Top players in baseball, most of them. Look, the best player in baseball is a white guy. Okay. After that, like you go to the top 10, you go like 7 in a row are like Spanish guys that are black.
Dominican.
You know what I'm saying? Dominican, but they're black dudes. Right? But it's just that it so happens that the guy on top, the very guy on top, is a white guy because he is the best player. He's better than all. The numbers prove, right? You just every year he puts up the same numbers. Like,
bro,
but nobody.
Sorry,
real quick, Johnny Boy.
Sorry.
I'm sorry, Johnny Boy. I was going to say nobody talks about him because he's not. He's really, he's really about not. Baseball is trying to get they're trying to sell to the international audience. So they talk about all these great Latin players that they have. They'll throw Mike Trout in there. Have to best player, period. Okay, so you got to throw him in there. Like people from Latin America love Mike Trout. Now ask yourself this: why is it that Latin America, that is mainly people of color, and I'm talking about the Dominican Republic, I'm talking about Cuba, I'm talking about Puerto Rico, where there's a lot of black people. Why do they love Mike Trout? Why do they love him? When it comes to baseball, I'm talking about the baseball fans. Well, that's simple. It's just simple. They love the game. So they see this guy who's doing it the best. They're like, man, I love him. I don't care what he is.
Yeah, exactly.
That's it. It's not because he's the great white hope. No, it's just a great player. That's it.
Bruh, and that whole, bro, like I said, this ain't the fucking 1920s, bro.
Yeah, like get your mind out of the 20s, bro. We 100 years past that.
Bro, let me finish, please. I was just gonna say, this ain't the fucking 1910s or the 1920s, bro. There's no racial line in boxing, bro. You don't believe me? Go ask Roberto Duran. They asked Roberto Duran on Historias. And he said, no, there ain't none of that shit. And that's been a guy who's been fighting since the 60s, bro. Suck my dick with everybody's racial talk. You can all go fuck your mothers. You're not in slavery. You're not oppressed.
Why you got to use all this kind of language, huh?
You don't own victimization.
Exactly. Thank you, McGregor.
All right, listen. I want to get away. I want
to say this. If I see another person called Triple G, the Great White Hope again, I'm going to lose my fucking shit. The dude's Asian.
All right. Well, let's get away from all this racial talk, because I mean it's pretty boring, especially when we were talking about Lomachenko before.
Can I just say one more thing, BDA? Because I didn't get a chance.
No.
I only got a second in there.
That's too bad. Listen, we got to move on, man. I don't want to talk about race, man. Come on.
No. I don't either. But I'm just saying, it's not because like we go back and forth between who's pound for pound number one between Lomachenko and Usyk, bro. It's not because they're white. It's because they're talented, bro, and they got killer resumes. That's all.
They're G's. That's some of the best.
They're G's, bro. Exactly.
Some of the best boxing I've ever seen in my life. Not.
Thank you.
White, like stop it.
Yes.
All right. Well, that's well said to end that subject right there. It's. Listen, I think everybody who's watched this channel knows what it's about. So I mean, let's try to get away from this because I wanted to bring something up because Recognize and Precise weren't here when we started talking about Lomachenko, who is fighting this Saturday, by the way. Don't forget, guys. Recognize and Precise. I was telling the guys who were talking about how we got to give Lomachenko credit, seeing how he's the A side in this equation, and yet he's traveling abroad, and it brings us to what we were talking about post Kovalev yard fight, about how very few Americans want to go to Russia to fight, and yet here you have Lomachenko. Not saying he's Russian, but he is the A side traveling to England when he doesn't really have to. I mean, if he wanted to, he doesn't have to. And yet he's going there. What do you guys think? Is that what makes Lomachenko endearing to boxing fans?
I'll let Precise go first. Go ahead, Pete.
Absolutely. I mean, Lomachenko's got a lot of fans all over the world, like mostly hardcore boxing fans, I guess. But even though there's going to be a lot of people rooting for Campbell, Lomachenko's going to have a lot of fans over there. And it makes sense to promote him like as a worldwide star because he doesn't really have a home. And it's something that we often talk about, how when a Western fighter travels to a different country, you know, there's all this concern, and people are looking to protect him, and they're giving him mad credit for, you know, fighting one fight on the road. And it's just kind of assumed that a lot of these other fighters, be they Japanese or from Eastern Europe or Central Europe, or even, you know, like Argentina, it's just assumed that they all should travel, and no one, you know, no one said, oh, Marcos Maidana is a G. He fought every single important fight in somebody else's hometown or just about. Like, no one says this shit. It's just taken for granted, and it kind of pisses me off. But I think it's a good move on Lomachenko's part to promote himself all over the world, and you know, it's great for the British boxing fans, because a lot of them fucking love the guy. So it's just mad props, man, for doing it. But it's all of them do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Over here, we appreciate world-class athletes. It's like when the NFL come to the UK, they fill Wembley Stadium out when there were 90,000. And that's American football. That's not really our game over here. 90,000 in that stadium. So we appreciate good athletes, world-class. Lomachenko, like I said before, we're not going to see him again. Bob Arum's not going to bring him to the UK again. So it's a chance to get to see him. People have flocked to... And Lomachenko's loving it. He's getting the love that he should have got a long time ago. But like I said, America, even for a man like Lomachenko, it's a hard place to crack, even when you're showing them major skills.
Yeah. Look, I think that when you're a champion, show that.
You're cutting out, recognize. You're cutting out, bro.
I'm sorry. How about now?
Yeah, go on.
Okay. When you're a world boxing champion at any division, and you're willing to defend your title in other countries, I think boxing fans, especially hardcore boxing fans, appreciate that. They look at that for what it is. They say, man, you know, the people from the UK who like are probably saying they're probably thankful to Lomachenko for coming out there and giving them the chance to watch him, you know, fight live. And it's just great for boxing. Look, man, I'm not here to knock on anybody that just wants to fight in a certain place. If that's what they want to do, that's them. But don't get upset. Don't get upset when you got a fighter that's willing to be a world champion. He's willing to show that across the world, defend his belt, give fans a chance to see him win or lose, right? Because we don't know for sure. We can guess, and we can take an educated guess and say that we think Lomachenko is going to win this fight. But he's still putting his reputation on the line because he's a champion. That's it. He's not asking you to pat him on the back. He's just there to show you, you know, that I am the best. I'm gonna go in your backyard and I'm gonna beat this guy. And it shows, man. Look, this is a guy Eddie Hearn went up to him playing around. Saw a video. Eddie Hearn goes up to him and says, so far, Ukraine, you guys are 1-0 because of Usyk. Usyk is like right there. He goes Saturday night 1-1. So, you know, here's a guy in Hearn who's proud of his country. It's banner, you know, they're playing around. I think he meant it, and he feels comfortable going up to Lomachenko because he knows he's a competitor, and say, look, we're going to be 1-1. And of course, Lomachenko said, nah, you're crazy. At the end of the night, it's going to. Right, so like as a boxing fan, I want to see that. I like seeing that. I like seeing guys being challenged, like almost you could be put in an uncomfortable situation depending on your personality. But he's a world champion. He's like, yeah, I like that. You want to put some money on it? Let's do it. Like these are the best fighters. That's what they do. They think they can beat you. They think they can beat you anywhere.
Hold on, before we continue, I just want to say real quick. I want to give a shout out to Virtuoso. Hold on, just real quick. I want to give a shout out to Virtuoso who just donated with a super chat. He says, "Unless Andy Ruiz is a Jew with a vag on, he shouldn't be scared about going to fight in Saudi Arabia." Well, I gotta tell you, it's interestingly worded right there, Virtuoso. Thank you for the contribution and thank you for the comment. All right, Stu, go ahead, please. What were you gonna say?
I was just gonna say that you've got to travel abroad, all around the world, to be a proper world champion for me. It's no good just being a champion, a home track bully that you know like. That has never left home in his whole career. I mean, people look at them champions. When you look at the champions that stayed at home all their careers,
like AJ.
no one really. What? Well, AJ, he went to fight Ruiz, didn't he? So we can't say that about him. He lost, all right, but he still went there.
He still went there.
So,
I give him credit for that. That's right.
Yeah, there's a lot of champions that stayed at home, and they don't get the credit they want because they don't deserve it. You've got to go all around the world. And when you look at some of the fights the UK have attracted recently, this is how you know that British boxing is doing quite well. When you look at Wilder's fought over here, Terence Crawford, Golovkin, Usyk's been here, Lomachenko's here now. We've had some Tank Davis has fought in the UK. We've had some real good names over here. Deontay Wilder, obviously, I've said that. I think, so it's the place to fight. Everyone wants to fight here once. If you speak to most fighters, they all want to fight in the UK once. Even Usyk said that the atmosphere in the Bellew fight was tremendous. It was. It was a great atmosphere that night.
Yeah.
And Usyk thrives on fighting away from home and beating people up in front of their home fans and doing it in style. Some fighters prefer that. Some fighters prefer the home comforts.
Now, let me ask you something. Let me ask you. I'm sorry, Johnny, but real quick, I'm just going to ask you guys this. Now, I'm going off of Stuart Little's last comment where he said Usyk kind of gets off on beating dudes up in their own backyard. Now, what's lucky about that? What's this great white hope about that? That's pure talent. He's saying, no. Don't give me any breaks. I don't want no breaks.
I mean, even that fight in America against Michael Hunter, that win is looking better and better every week, isn't it? That Michael Hunter's got to look a real good fighter, a heavyweight, a dangerous one at that. And that win's getting better. When you just go through the resume, the names, and they're all away from home. I mean, this guy, he's got to be in the top 2 pound for pound on anyone's list.
Lomachenko fights in America. All his fights, he's away from home. He's beating these dudes up until they retire. Triple G, the same thing. He's beating these guys up mainly. What's so lucky about that? There's nothing lucky. There's no great white hope or anything. These are pure good talent. That's all that is.
I got it. Well, first of all, and one thing too, if I'm such a racist fucker like Dead Game and some of these other retards like to claim, then why was I just on here defending the shit out of Crawford? First of all, and second of all, what I gotta say, that atmosphere in the Russia card last Saturday, that looked pretty on par. The fucking lights going off and the fucking ring girls all look like fucking prime Christy Mack. Johnny Likey. Straight Johnny likes.
What's up, BDA? What's up, Johnny? What's up, guys?
What's up, Gonzalo?
What up, bro?
To pick up on your point, Johnny boy, look, you had Anthony Yard, a black man from the UK. Right. Now, look, and this is not to diss any race. If there was anybody who should have hope in the end of a sentence, was him. He was the black hope. Because more than likely, he was not going to be a talented fighter like Kovalev in Russia. But he went over there, he gave it a shot, and he drowned. And he drowned pretty viciously. I watched that fight again. That was a vicious beatdown. When you watch it once, you just get the gist of what's going on. When you watch it again, I'm saying to myself, this kid is getting beat down. He really didn't win any rounds. Maybe the round that he almost knocked him. He almost knocked him down, or he had him hurt. Right. Other than that, really, he was getting beat up. But that's the that would be the right sentence to call somebody. Put the hope on the end of that. Was a guy like Anthony Yard. He had really, and it showed in the fight. He really didn't have a shot. He was way over his head. But they don't say that.
That went exactly how I said it would. Kovalev would do his best work at long range when everyone was trying to say, no, he does his best at long range when he's keeping the straight punches. When he got inside, Yard was bullying him in the 8th round and started to land a lot of shots, and Kovalev was all over the shot. When Kovalev got back to his boxing, it was an absolute schooling. But I think Kovalev, I think he's there for the taking. I really do. And
he might be and I agree with you that he might be, especially because
he's gonna murder Canelo. He's gonna destroy and annihilate Canelo.
I don't think he should be fighting Canelo.
I don't think Canelo will fight him, but look, let's see what happens. But what I would say this is what I would say. Anthony Yard gets a ton of credit, and I've heard it from a lot of people saying that, he put up a good fight. He did, in the sense that he took a hell of a beating in that fight. Look, it's not dissing Anthony Yard. I'm not dissing him, but he had no fucking shot. He is your black hope.
Can't fight that style. We said this, and this is what I like about this show. We all got it spot on. When you go back and listen to the preview show, we basically clocked it. You can't fight Kovalev like that. The way he fight behind that shell, counter punching. And I said he'd be missing all night, be out of range, and the straight punches would be the key for Kovalev. Exactly what happened. Yard just doesn't have that style. Go on, pick.
And let's forget the race, because nobody cares about Yard's skin color. Definitely. I'm sure some people do, but let's just let that shit go, because that ultimately doesn't matter.
Exactly.
But, yeah, and I agree that Kovalev is ready for the taking for some of the other champs at the weight, but the amount of people that are saying that Canelo beats him, it's staggering, man. That's a fairly easy fight for Kovalev. He's going to beat, unless Canelo brings him down to 170, tells him what gloves to wear, and puts a rehydration clause on him, all that other bullshit. Kovalev will destroy Canelo. You heard it here first.
Don't allow me about Kovalev.
Hold on, Stu. Hold on 1 second, bro. Precise. That's the thing. That's why I don't want to see it, bro. It's because Canelo's gonna pull some whole sucker shit like that, bro, and drain him and fucking manipulate everything. And also, and the other point too is, there's plenty of fights for both of them guys in their own weight classes, bro. I don't want to see that shit.
The only real reason I would give Canelo a shot is because he would go to the body from the first round on. And Yard, he landed some good punches around the 5th and 6th round, yes.
Have you seen the Danny Jacobs fight? Do you want to know how many punches Canelo landed on Danny Jacobs in the first, per round, more or less? Less than 6. Okay, and it was mostly long jabs and long right hands and long hooks. And he never hurt him, whether to the body or the head. And his body shots had no impact on Danny Jacobs whatsoever. Now he's going to move up to weight division, fight a bigger guy. What are his body punches going to do to Kovalev? Have you ever seen Kovalev knocked down by a body punch? Has anyone, he's been hurt by light heavyweights. He's been hurt to the body by light heavyweights, no doubt about it.
He got hurt in sparring by Golovkin.
Yeah, but Golovkin is a big. Golovkin is a big punching. He's a big punching middleweight. People have said
sparring.
it. It's first of all, it's sparring. Okay, it's sparring.
Well, it's with bigger gloves.
Well, no, I get what you're saying. Gonzalo. But what you're still talking about a very big puncher or the middleweight division. So yeah, he probably caught him in the right spot and he hurt Kovalev. But I bet you Kovalev hurt him too. I guarantee.
Let me tell you something, guys. You guys are telling me that when I look at Canelo, I'm seeing a Manny Pacquiao. No. Someone better than Pacquiao, okay? Now, I saw Pacquiao and Cotto. I don't know if you guys saw that fight, but Pacquiao destroyed Prime Eagle. When Canelo got in the ring with Cotto.
Yeah.
Is that me?
Yeah, mute your mics, please, if you're not talking, because there's a crackling. So go on, Pete.
It ain't for me.
I think it was precise, actually.
No. You know what? Listen, those are definitely good points.
Hold on. I'm not done.
Hang on, Gonzalo. Let the guys finish.
I think it's
I am. I'm not saying anything. I'm just.
No, it's not me, man. It's not me.
Look,
but it's not.
Look, Canelo doesn't knock out. top-level middleweights. He's never knocked out a prime, young, top-level 154-pounder. He's going to move up 2 weight divisions after already moving up 3, and he's going to knock out a top light heavyweight. With what?
Yo,
baseball bat?
yo, precise. Does he have to knock him out, though?
Yes.
In order to do that,
Hold on, Bucho. There's a lot of background noise on your end. So.
Bucho, your mic's terrible. But he's not gonna outbox him, Bucho. He's not gonna outbox Kovalev, a boxer puncher, and beat him in a 12-round fight.
Hold on, this is getting. This show, hold on. This show is getting. This show is getting out of hand. We gotta keep a little control here. First of all, Bucho, there's a lot of background noise on your end. It's really disrupting the show.
Still? No.
Yeah, you're in like.
Sounds like rain.
I gotta hang up.
All right, sorry, precise. Keep going with what you're saying. Go ahead.
No, look. Yeah, I'm putting corruption aside. Obviously, I know he can't get a decision. Okay, I know that. I'm not talking about that. If you're telling me that Canelo's going to outbox Kovalev, I seriously have to, excuse me, question your boxing.
Yeah, because Andre
Wait, hold up, Stu. I just want to clarify something. I didn't say. Me personally, Gonzalo didn't say that Canelo's going to outbox Kovalev. I think Kovalev outboxes Canelo, and the only chance that Canelo has is to knock out Sergey Kovalev going to the body, and that's what he would probably most likely invest in, to the body, and if he can win, it's by doing that.
But who did he knock out to the body, bro? Who does
No,
Canelo
I'm just
knock
saying
out,
that's
period?
the only chance I
Nobody.
give him. That's the only chance I give him.
You're giving him a slim chance.
A slim chance, given that Kovalev has showed that he's vulnerable to the body.
Yeah, but Canelo is not.
Is vulnerable to the jab, bro.
Yeah,
like
he's vulnerable to
Golovkin pieced him the fuck up with the jab. Kovalev is longer, hits harder, he's bigger. I mean, has arguably better jab than Golovkin. He
doesn't totally get dismantled, because one thing that I have to say about Canelo, he does have a hard chin. He does know how to move his waist. He's not going to be chasing around to look for Kovalev. So all he has to do is step inside that jab and go to the body, belt him with the right and the left hand to the kidneys and to the liver, and avoid getting hit with that jab until he ends up putting enough work that he's gonna tilt the fight to where he's gonna break down Kovalev. Will that happen? I'm not saying it will, but that's the chance that he does have.
Well, and all I gotta do to fuck Jessica Alba is get a couple of $1 million, and I'm golden. Right?
Wait a minute. Come on.
Can I get in it?
I got one thing to say real quick.
I think Kovalev is he's gonna have to adapt a style where he sticks to his boxing. The days of fighting and going in there swinging punches and going for the KO, I think they're over with this guy, because his tank looks like he's getting on a bit, and his tank looks like he has to save energy and pick his moments. And I think when he's getting behind his jab and keeping it at range, I think he's very good. Like I said, he outboxed Andre Ward at range. It's when Ward took it to the inside and started fighting him on the inside and roughing him up, Kovalev's tanks went and he fell to pieces, sort of thing. And I think that's where Yard, I know where Gonzalo's coming from. Yard, he is quite vulnerable to the body. I've seen him hurt a few times. He's never been stopped, by the way, but he is quite vulnerable. Yard hurt him with a body shot, which started that 8th round, what happened there. And I think once Kovalev got back to his boxing, I think he proved that he was far too good.
But what about Canelo's body? The reason why Yard got stopped is because Kovalev destroyed his body. Like, he was the body puncher in that fight. He absolutely Yard's stamina. We don't know how good his stamina is. It was the body work by Kovalev who landed many more body punches than Yard that destroyed him. Now hold on.
I just wanted to say thank you to Precise for defending me from the Canelo fanboys for coming on there and the other night. Thank you, Precise. And
bro, they're insane. I'm not saying he doesn't have a chance. I'm not saying that at all. But the amount of people who think that this is like easy work and Canelo should be the favorite blows my fucking mind. How many times have we seen these little guys come up 2 weight divisions and beat somebody? Manny Pacquiao, that's the only guy who's done it recently. And look,
and the other thing,
Canelo just went life and fucking death with the middleweight version of Kovalev. Now he's gonna move up 2 weight divisions and not lose. Give me a fucking break.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's the thing. And I was gonna ask. I just got a question to ask BDA. I was gonna ask: are we giving our Loma Campbell predictions tonight, BDA?
Yeah, why not? Yeah, sure. Let's make it happen.
I was just asking. I was honestly just asking. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll get to that. We'll get to that.
Back to Kovalev quickly. What alarmed me about Kovalev was when he did get hurt, he did all the wrong things. He started throwing back, and he started basically putting his head down and swinging, sort of thing. And he didn't hold when he needed to. He didn't take, he didn't take a step back. He just did all the wrong things, and he looked like he was ready to go. I mean, thank God the second win came. He got behind his boxing again, but that alarms me. That tells me Kovalev's not in fantastic shape. I just think he was so much levels above Yard that he could just basically box him at range and piece him up. But when he's in there with a young Bivol or a Vozic or a Baturbiev or them sort of guys, then I think
it's going to be a different ball game with those guys. Yeah, and I agree with you with that. But we're talking, the whole Canelo thing, it's like I agree that there's talk like no doubt that Canelo's going to go in there and win that fight. I'm like, what fight? Where do you think this fight's going to happen? If you think that he's going to take him down the middle, super middle, then maybe we're talking. And then I'll say, yeah, I would shot. But if it's at 170, you got to come up, be a 175 pounder. Canelo don't shot.
I think.
They got to keep it fair. They got to keep it fair at 175 and have the fight where it takes place in December.
If it happens, and he could rehydrate to his normal weight and 75, Canelo's that night. I could guarantee you that now. Whether it goes on the scorecards, that they'll give it to Kovalev, or maybe Kovalev knocks him out. So we need that. I'm guarantee you, Kovalev is not that great of a boxer. I'm not seeing that.
He's not busy enough, though. Precise. Canelo is not busy enough to beat Kovalev. You've got to be throwing punches, and you've got to be working. You've got to be taking that tank from him. Canelo fights at a slow pace himself, so Kovalev's going to fight at that pace all night long. You've got to take him into deep waters, and that's when Kovalev, I think, will fall apart because I think his fitness and his age is going to take over.
But you need a guy with size. Do that. You need a guy who's physical with him.
You're asking Canelo to be a pressure fighter. He's not a. You're asking Canelo to be to fight the bigger man's fight, to get physical. Kovalev will get off his long range bombs, and then he'll grab a hold of him and lean all over him. What's Canelo gonna? What is he gonna do?
Bro,
go to the body.
Go to the body.
And it's going to take more than 6 body shots per round for Canelo to slow Kovalev down. And in the meantime, he's going to be going to Canelo's body. Stamina ain't that good, okay? And now look, when Canelo moved up to weight division to fight the best guy at 160, he didn't have his confidence, right? And it took him some clenbuterol and another fight to find his baby balls and put in work and arguably win the fight, right? That's great. Now he's going to move up 2 more weight divisions, fight the best guy there, and he's being asked to come forward, close the distance, and bully this guy? Like, are we watching boxing?
Precise is starting to win me over with this argument. I ain't going to even lie to you. And most of the time, people can't even talk me out of my thoughts. But yeah, you got a point, bro. I ain't even
Johnny,
lie.
They're brainwashing. You know what? They're brainwashing the public because Canelo's gonna, pretend like he's fighting, do whatever the fuck he needs to do not to get knocked the fuck out, and then he's gonna get all this credit from commentators, and he's gonna win the decision, and everybody needs to believe that he actually won the fight when he has very little to no chance to win on a level playing field. This is you're asking this guy to be Manny Pacquiao. He is nowhere near some Pacquiao.
You know what's funny, Precise, bro? I was like, you know what? Because I made a couple videos talking about Canelo Kovalev. I was like, you know what? Because I got it DVR'd still. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna watch this fucking Golovkin Canelo 2 fight again, and I scored it for Golovkin again, man. Like,
listen, it was a good fight. It was a good fight.
Yeah,
he came up, did really well. I thought he lost the fight too. Now, look, if you had it the other way around, I don't have a problem with that either.
Exactly.
There were swing rounds that I kind of leaned Golovkin, right? I thought I just gave it to him slightly. But look, they were both very The first fight wasn't that competitive to me. The second fight was super competitive, where either guy could have won for me. My point is that look, Kovalev, I get it. He is vulnerable. He's 6 feet tall, 73-inch arm. He has a pistol jab. He hits you to the body, hits you to the with the jab, hits you everywhere, hits you in your chest. Dope video, by the way, Sice, with your fight fan. You show how he's fucking hitting him all over the body. He goes back to his corner, rubbing his chest. The normal shit, they're rubbing his chest. You're doing it too hard. It's like, no, he's not. He's not doing it. You're in pain. That's what's happening.
That was an excellent video.
And that's a big body. Think about this. That is a big frame body, much bigger than Canelo. Okay? And he was doing that to him.
Well, let me just say something.
Same style, by the way. I'm not saying he's as good, but Yard fights the same style.
Similar style. It's similar style.
And let me just hold on, Johnny Boy. Let me just say something real quick because Bucho wrote something. He said that Canelo has good head movement and he's not easy to hit with jabs. He forces fighters to close the distance and he gets low, which is a good point, Bucho. It's a good point, and it's not like Golovkin was hitting him at will with the jabs, but Kovalev, let's not mince words here. He's a big dude, man. I mean, he's 6 feet tall, 175 pounds. Lord only knows at what weight he walks around with. That's what we were talking about a little bit with Jimmy also and the panelists last week, or last episode, I think it was, about how Canelo, it's not going to be easy for him to get past that jab, but it's not going to be, how easy is it going to be for Kovalev as well to hit him with the jab? It's an interesting fight, for sure.
You know what? You know what, BDA? This is what I was just gonna say. Well, you know who else has really good head movement is Dead Game's sister. But anyways, that aside,
come on.
That aside,
come on.
She's got,
what's the matter with you?
She's got great fucking head movement. She's got great fucking head movement.
No.
Ask about her. She's
Wait a minute.
Oh. But anyways, you know what, I'm curious.
What a big man you are!
But you know what I'm curious to see, because Canelo does have a good chin. You got to give it to him. The kid
I do give it to him. You got a good chin. You got to block
at 160, at 160
right.
pounds.
Well, that's precise. That's what I'm just gonna say. That's what I was just getting at. Is I'm curious to see how he reacts to fucking Kovalev hitting him, because he is gonna have to walk through. If he does try to go into the body, he's gonna have to walk through a lot of shit to get to that, bro.
Here's what I was. You notice, would Canelo ever fight Beterbiev, Vosdik, Bivol?
No, he loses those fights.
Of course he does. No, there's no doubt. He gets smashed by those dudes. But I'm not even questioning that.
Be fucking nice.
Canelo fans could go eat a dick if they think that he could
be the only reason I recognize
be nice
that I'm giving him a chance here is because of the stylistic
right, stylistic matchup at the end. Canelo will be on the floor and he needs surgery at the end of the night.
And I'd be interested to see how Canelo looks at 175. He will look like a bull.
His career will be
like Canelo.
His career will be short. His career will be short at 175.
And recognize, bro. That's what I'm saying, bro, about Canelo's punk ass, bro. I'm like, bro, if you really want to,
he's not. No. Look, you know something, Johnny Boy. I'm not gonna even say he's a punk. No, I'm not saying that. The guy is not a punk. Here's what I'm saying. Oh, okay. I got you. Okay. No. I'm to me, it's like he's playing the political game. No, I don't believe him. I think this fight's gonna be at 170. And it's going to be I'm not giving him credit for that.
Yeah,
sorry. And I have a feeling even with that, he's going to barely win the fight.
Okay. That's what I'm saying, bro. If you wanted to, if you wanted to.
Okay, what the fuck, man? What the fuck? Bucho, what the fuck, man? We're having a great conversation here.
Well, I gotta bounce to him. So, Kovalev, listen, Kovalev is fucking weak, man. All right, Yard, 17-0 Yard was getting into the fucking body of Kovalev and almost fucking stopped that guy, man. At some point, one of the rounds he was hitting the body, and Kovalev didn't like it at all. And all he did was cover his body. He covered his body, and he was backing up. He didn't care about his head anymore. He was just covering his body. That's how bad it was, man. So
the few fucking times,
Canelo's not gonna be the one coming forward. He doesn't have to, man. All he's gonna do is
get out box.
evade the jabs, No, he's gonna evade the jab, throw a few working body shots. They might hurt, they might not hurt Kovalev, but whatever. He's gonna win the round doing that shit, man.
Can I finish my point real quick, please?
Go ahead.
Well, actually, let me get into Kevin to piggyback off what a butcher. Man, let me just fucking speak. God damn.
Hold on.
All right, go ahead, dude. Go ahead. Go right the fucking head.
Holy shit, bro! I was about to talk for fucking Bucho.
Well, go ahead. Fuck.
All right. Fucking. Nah, I was just gonna say.
This sort of thing is always rather grim. This sort of thing is always rather grim. But this one had a kind of splendor to it, don't you think?
Kovalev is what I was gonna say. That's all I was gonna say. If he really wanted to prove he was that good, he'd go up and fight Vazda, Serbiev, or Bivol, considering they both fight on the same platform. But you know, he's gonna weight train a 40-year-old and all that shit. Jesus Christ, Gonzalo, relax.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say that based on what Bucho was saying. Based on what Bucho was saying, the few times that I saw Yard hit Kovalev, he hurt him. Okay, prior to the 8th round, he only landed a few shots and was able to hurt Kovalev. That's what I find really interesting about
He's
Kovalev.
also
He can't
200
really take a shot to the body.
He's also 200 pounds.
And I think that Canelo, he does have good waist movement, but it can also roll his neck, real good to where he can avoid a lot of the shots coming inside.
Okay, because you guys been creaming your panties about Canelo's head movement. I've been trying to tell you how that shit is all smoke and mirrors. It ain't no good. It does you nothing. Doesn't win you points. This is what Canelo does. He does that little hop step thingy, right? Where he's all flat-footed as fuck. He covers maybe 3 inches, and then with his feet. And then he stops and he starts moving his body left and right. And if he does that for 3 or 4 rounds, by the 5th round, he's huffing and puffing because he's burning up all kinds of energy. And there are no counter punches from this head movement. What you guys are saying he needs to do is, while he's coming forward and moving his head, he needs to be also throwing punches. Now, you're imagining somebody else because Canelo doesn't do that, okay? When you start throwing a lot of punches at Canelo, yeah, he will show you excellent head movement, upper body movement, and he will evade punches from somebody whose jab is limp like my fucking dick after 3 bottles of vodka, okay? Danny Jacob.
Wait a minute, hold on.
That dude's jab was fucking made out of marshmallows, okay? And he was still able to put Canelo on the ropes and unload on him. He was still able to land his jab. Kovalev feints. He's going to feint your boy. He's going to feint his head where he wants it to be, and then he's going to pound him to the chest. The chest ain't moving, man. The chest is right there. He's going to pound him to the gut. I mean, it's going to be a beatdown. Canelo does not come forward while moving his head, while countering. Canelo is a great counterpuncher, okay? Canelo comes forward. Yes, he does. He cuts the ring. Yes, Canelo moves his head, but he doesn't do all 3 at the same time, and that is what you're asking him to do.
Well, I want to say something about that.
I just want to add on. I really do want to add on that Canelo, he does have the gas tank issues, and people want to talk about him being a very good body puncher. Kovalev is arguably the most underrated body puncher in the entire sport, bar nobody. This guy pieces dudes up to the body in every damn fight, and it goes unnoticed. And that's something that's gonna be a big issue for Canelo, because Kovalev will be the hardest puncher he's been in with, not Golovkin. Yep. He will be the best body puncher he's been in there with. And on top of which, he's gonna end up huffing and puffing like I would in my own caravan if my second cousin started stripping naked in front of me.
Oh, come on. Now, see, this show is getting out of hand. First of all, this show with the crassness and the lewdness, I'm not gonna have it.
Take control of this, BDA.
Yeah, I gotta take control. Thank you, Recognize. I know you're backing me up. Listen.
Yeah, I got your back.
I gotta just piggyback off what Precise said, and I want to add what I think I know what Butch is coming from. I would love to have him in, but I don't know if he's gonna be farting into the microphone or whatever. But I think what he meant was to Precise's point, which is that he's got good enough defense that and enough sporadic counterpunches that it's like Precise said, smoke and mirrors. We all know he's gonna get the benefit of the doubt with the judges, and so I think that's what Butch is trying to say, is that all he's going to have to do is sporadically throw some combinations, a fusillade of shots here and there, get the Mexican fans wooing and eyeing, and that's how he's going to take the fight. Now, Kovalev at this point, his jab really, that's the ace in his hole right now. It's that if can Canelo get past that jab? Because if he can't, he's going to be in trouble. I got to tell you one thing. I was very impressed with Kovalev against Andre Ward. Because say what you want about Andre Ward, but he's got good defense. Just compare what he was able to do against Kovalev.
Yep, he hit. And you know something? Andre Ward had very good defense. Give him that. I saw Kovalev hit him a couple of times in both fights, more than one shot. And Andre Ward doesn't get hit with shots. It just doesn't happen.
Exactly.
And Kovalev was hit several times with a two-piece in both fights. Yeah,
all right, you're cutting up a little bit there, but what I was saying is that early in the fight, Andre Ward you could tell he was a little bit lost about and impressed with the fact that he was getting hit so easily with those Kovalev jabs. Then he started figuring out the distance, he started clinching more, he started gauging the distance more and figuring it out how to get out of the away to the jab. And at some point, Kovalev didn't have as much success in the middle rounds with the jab. In the second fight, Kovalev was back to that jab and he was bloodying Ward's nose up. And that's Andre Ward. Now compare that to Anthony Yarde, who tries to be like Andre Ward, but his defense is just a poor facsimile of the actual Ward defense. Now, you gotta wonder, Canelo, he can do the shoulder roll and all that, give fighters one side of his body, but most of the time he is squared up, moving his head. So it would be an interesting fight. And like Jimmy said, if Kovalev were to take a fight, he should take that fight because it's a big money fight. He's not going to make as much money against Bivol and all those guys. At this point, what does Kovalev really have to prove? I think he should take that Canelo fight. That's my point of view on that.
I'm thinking, BDA. I'm thinking when Kovalev hits him, he's gonna look like that redheaded guy off of RoboCop that got the fucking chemicals dropped on his head. Help me! That guy.
That's a good one.
And then that. Listen, bro. That's why I've been just going on a fucking Canelo tear and an AJ tear on my videos lately, bro. Because I'm sick of both of their fucking fanboys.
I got you. And by the way, somebody told
like that's why I was just ripping Canelo Alvarez's resume apart on the last video or 2 videos ago. And same thing with the AJ, bro. I don't care how much you fucking like the dude. The guy got his ass whooped by a 33-1 underdog. Nobody gave him a shot in fucking hell. And like, there's no excuses. Oh, he got dropped in sparring. Well, so what? Just like after Pacquiao beat Keith Thurman, bro. Keith Thurman was up last night playing dice.
Right.
Well, so that's Pacquiao's fault because he didn't get the Betty buy time.
Nah, listen. That I don't know what to make of those rumors, but here's the thing. Yes, Gonzalo. Yes, go ahead.
To be fair, to Canelo Alvarez at middleweight, none of these guys have been knocking anybody out. Andrade, Lomachenko, Jacobs, even Triple G with the 2 Canelo fights. These guys ain't knocking each other out. I mean, he couldn't stop Miguel Cotto, a guy that has only been KO'd 2 times against Manny Pacquiao in the Margarito.
Yeah.
You know, but it's just kind of like, are we kind of underrating Canelo's power?
Well, listen.
Canelo's power is what it is. His power is what it is. He's a volume. He usually wears guys out. He hits them with a bunch of punches. Look, if you want to go by Khan, I mean, everybody knocks out Khan. So, like Danny Garcia knocked him out. I mean,
Shane Mosley stood in front of Canelo for 12 rounds and took hella body shots. They fought on the inside for the. Yeah, he hurt him. I once was never able to. This is a former lightweight, and I know Mosley was always a tough guy, but this is a lightweight. Okay, he never really put a much of a dent in. Who does Canelo stop to the body? Rocky Fielding. Watch. If you think that was a real fight, I implore you to watch that because Rocky Fielding just walked up to Canelo without a jab, without anything, and here hit me in the body. And the only reason why Canelo got any kind of leverage on because Rocky Fielding inside.
Yeah,
Kovalev is a step inside, just like in the Danny Jacobs fight. Canelo's going to reach, so his hooks are going to be wider, and they're not going to be as powerful. His right hand is nice, it's strong, but it doesn't knock people down. It doesn't hurt him to the body. His jab to the body is pretty good, but it doesn't hurt people. It doesn't throw enough to break you down to the body. Again, Kovalev is not sit on the inside and say, give him the body and say, here, hit me. It's just not going to happen. Canelo won't be able to get that patented Mexican left hook to the liver level. Okay, if he can't hurt Danny Jacobs, if he could barely touch him to the body, and Danny Jacobs lands any body punch Canelo. So if Danny Jacobs is landing on Canelo's body, Kovalev is his body. You telling me that if they land the same amount of punches, it's going to be Kovalev getting broken down to the body? I did.
All right, let me add something to that because I gotta play devil's advocate here. Bucho in the chat is saying who has stopped mostly though. Kovalev looks weak now. By the way, recognize, is somebody whistling at you? Are you wearing your assless chaps right now? What the hell's going on in Manhattan right now?
No. That was me whistling at my dog. You could hear that?
We can hear that. You got your mic on and you're whistling like you're in
the I don't have it on.
He's selling fucking whistles in the back of his van.
Yeah, man, come on, man. Listen, at this point,
my dog went a little too far. I was like, "Where the fuck are you?"
I said, "Get in the car, Pachanga."
All right, but Bucho's saying, were people concerned by how Kovalev looked versus 17-0 yard? Listen, the point is it's an intriguing. Listen, the point is it's an intriguing fight. We do have to end this show though, even though it's gotten very interesting. There's still a lot of energy after 3 hours, but I don't want to make this podcast too long because otherwise people drop off when they're listening to it on the replay. So we're gonna end it now, but I gotta guarantee you, Bucho's probably gonna do a pre-fight show on Friday. So we'll continue this discussion. We'll continue getting all of your predictions for Lomachenko versus what's his name? Campbell. Recognize he's distracting me with his whistles. What, are you in the woods? He thinks he's fucking Grizzly Adams or something.
I live by a beach, so he's a little too. I see him now. Come here, you little motherfucker.
All right, listen. Anyway, guys,
I thought I lost my dog. Sorry.
All right, this is a very good show. We got a great discussion going, a disagreement, which is always fantastic. So I want to thank all of you guys who joined. I want to thank Precise, Johnny Boy, Gonzalo, Recognize, on Rival Boxing Talk. And by the way, Gonzalo, just wanted to tell you, and Stu, of course, Gonzalo, next time when I give you a call on the Discord, even if you don't answer, you're still in the group. So all you got to do is click on join the call and you come back in.
That is true. Because you called me and I had...
Exactly.
Saw that.
Okay, I'll figure it out. Anyways, I think Lomachenko stops Campbell to the body.
Hey,
don't give us your prediction.
You're not supposed to give us...
Yeah, you're not supposed to give us your prediction right away. What are you
doing?
Do that
on the prediction show, Gonzalo.
You gotta wait, man.
Okay, I just thought that Johnny had mentioned that we were going to speak about that. And then...
Well, he asked whether we were going to do it.
Yeah.
We're going to pretend that we didn't hear that. We didn't hear that.
Okay. My bad.
You know, the way he may change his mind, like Gypsy stuff.
Exactly. Yeah, he's gonna change his mind like Gypsy stuff.
Gypsy starts looking at people's packages and he changes his fucking mind. What's wrong with him?
And by the way, it's interesting you mentioned packages because we were talking about what people need to do to become bigger stars, better marketers. They should hire a PR guy. Just release a sex tape. That's all you gotta do, really. There's nothing all that stupid about it. Release a sex tape, just like what was the guy's name from Heat? Tom Sizemore. He released a very good sex tape. I commend. I suggest everybody watches it, and that's all you gotta do. So we're gonna be talking about more of that. Ah, jeez. We're gonna be talking more about that.
That's a back shot.
Wow, bro.
That's a real like back shot.
That sounds like whose cousin?
My cousin.
Oh, come on.
I unmuted.
Can you introduce me to her?
No, bro. Look, it's family only in our culture. Back up.
Ah, gotcha. Sorry.
All right. These incest jokes really are putting a bad taste in my mouth and a bit of a hard on. Listen, guys, thank you for joining us.
I had a feeling.
Yeah. Guys, thank you for
bad
joining
taste
us.
and hard-ons really get you going.
Guys, thank you for a great show. Everybody was sensational tonight. Remember, if I give you a call and you don't answer, you can still go to the group and join anytime. But we only have 8 places, only 8 spots on the show, so you gotta make it quick, all right? So, thank you everybody for joining us, man.
Nice talking to everybody, man. Good conversation.
All right, man.
Peace.
All right, you too, guys. Thank you for joining us. Now, let me just read the chat real quick. So, again, thank you everybody, all the panelists. Fantastic talk. We really do have the best panelists and the best chat room as well. Want to give a shout out to Grievous, Shepherd of Sons, Duck, Gimme the Loot, Saint Brit, Jester Man, is that how you say it? All Boxing Talk and News, BOKS, Bucho was in there, Virtuoso, Shepherd the Sons keeping things alive in the chat room as well, and Orderly, shout out to him, the Quags, the Punisher, M6G, who I think was one of the callers, Endgame, Dead Game 2, who called in as well, Muscle Memory, SB3 or SB2, Texas Diablo, Canelo, shout out to Canelo, who else? Black Lomachenko, Amak PVP, Sin Amasia, Endgame, Gonzalo was in there as well. Many more people, I'm sure. If I miss somebody, I do apologize, can't count them all. But thank you guys a lot. And I also want to thank everybody who donated via the super chat. Chicano Prophet, Chris K, M6G, Apology Man, who says Wilder opened a fast food restaurant in Yorkshire. Oh yeah, I think I heard about that. And Virtuoso as well. So thank you guys for joining us. Thank you for your contributions. I really do appreciate it. We do appreciate it. You keep the gravy trainer rolling and the show rolling on Rival Boxing Talk and News. Shout out to McGregor in the chat room who's just saying, take care, boys. Gonzalo saying, bomb squad. Bay Area Boxing as well. Shout out to Bay Area. And that's about it, really. Reality Voice, who says good night, everybody. That's right. Good night, everybody. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you on Friday. Bucho's going to do a pre-fight show for that one. We are going to be doing late night streams where we replay the best of BDA. That's one of the plans we've got going. So thanks again, everybody, for joining us, and we'll see you on the next one. Take it easy, fellas. Thank you for joining us.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to offend you.
I'm disappointed in every one of you.
I kiss you on the mouth. No, I'm not cool with that. I'm sorry.
One more time. I'm disappointed in every one of you.
I mean, I'm dealing with degenerate animals.
I'm disappointed in every one of you. Disappointed in every one of you.
All right, come on.
Honestly, I can't do it, man. I'm disappointed in every one of you.
Let me tell you why.
It's gonna be all right, Nicky. Go ahead, shoot.
You just killed a little fucking man.
What are you going to do about it?
Yeah, because you got nothing. You don't got a thing. Yeah, because you got nothing.
Lomito!
Got nothing.
I want to get out. I want to get out of this rat hole. I want to get online. I need
BDA Boxing.